Oh, you muted. I think you muted, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this StreamYard stuff always do it to me. Every time I get on here, it never fails. But good afternoon, everybody. What's going on? What's up with y'all?
What up? What up? What up?
So,
We are finally here for episode 21. We are definitely in the building for episode 21. It's the Darion Hopkins Show, and I'm your host, Darion. We got a lot of topics to talk over when it comes to the sports world, ladies and gentlemen, from Lakers advancing, me no longer being a 76ers fan. I'm so serious about that, y'all. Y'all don't. I think y'all really don't understand that I'm really not a Sixers fan anymore. I'm really not. Yeah, episode 21. Anybody that's watching on Instagram right now, if you want to come over to YouTube, make sure you come over to YouTube and talk. If y'all want to come over and check it out, y'all can. I know my camera's a little difficult on this side, but hey, it's all good. But yeah, I don't. Oh, we got a lot to talk about, especially with them bums in the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. Congratulations to the Arlington Renegades. They are the champion, the inaugural champion since the XFL came back. They have upsetted the DC Defenders. That was the best team in the league. So now they are the champions of the XFL. It's a lot to talk. It's a lot to talk about today, y'all. But how y'all feeling today? I know Mac is feeling well. He's feeling alive. That Boston won today. So I mean, Boston won yesterday in convincing fashion.
Convincing
fashion. Absolutely. That's exactly how I see it. That's exactly how I see it. So let's get straight into it, man. Even though that we only had one game yesterday, we gonna get back. We gonna spin the block on them Lakers. We gonna spin the block on them.
I'm waiting. I'll wait.
Because I really want to get this out the way with these 76ers, man. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Now, when it comes down to it, Tatum has 51, and the 76ers lose. That's just what it is. Plain and simple. The Sixers got their ass whooped, and it was bad. It was bad. It was, as a live streamer, it was bad for me to watch. And I stopped caring. I stopped caring at like 4 minutes into the fourth quarter. I'm like, yeah, this game is over. People are like, oh, the game is far from over. No, this game is over. This game is exactly over. But Mac, I know you watched some of it. So what was your thoughts on this recap on this game in itself?
So I'm gonna say this first and foremost, right? Doc Rivers deserves all the credit for the 76ers making it to this point. And the superstars are the reason why they lost. There was to these guys, it was like game 3. It's like, they had a tomorrow. There was a tomorrow. They played like they had a tomorrow. There was no sense of urgency. There was no, let's give it everything. And the crazy part is, like, again, I'll say this. Maxey played great. I thought Maxey was trying. If everybody played like Maxey, I think we're talking about a different game. I think we're talking about a nail-biter down to the last minute, possibly overtime game. But again, like, you can't put dogs in people. They either have to or they don't. And at this point, like, Embiid looked frustrated and flat. Harden looked like the Harden everybody was waiting for. And, I mean, it was just nobody else really had a chance to step up. Because when they were given opportunities here and there, they didn't make the most of it. And it was just like one team had everything going for them and kept building off of it. One team was going down and just kept building on going down. And it was like after the second half, they might as well just put the backups on the court and let them run it. Because what did Embiid do with the second half of the game? What did Harden do the second? Now Harden had 9 points. And it's like, come on, man. What are you doing? And I'm sure, and I said this in the group chat too, like Doc Rivers at halftime, like, come on, guys, this is ours to win. Y'all gonna get me fired. And sure as shit, they came out in the second half, played even worse. So I squarely put this on the superstars. I hope Doc gets another year. I hope he's not affected so much so because of the lack of play from the players. Like, I mean, Doc can help coach you and get you to game 7. He can get you there. But he can't win game 7 for you. He's a coach.
I got a question, though. In the last 7 years, when it comes to Doc Rivers being a head coach, not for the Philadelphia 76ers, but in the last 7 to 10 years, what has been Doc Rivers' problem as a head coach? Not closing out series, right?
Just
hear me out.
Look at the talent he's been given. He's been given one or two pieces,
right? You're saying that when you're up 3-1, as a Los Angeles Clippers coach, when you're up 3-1,
he took the Celtics to the championship. That is the last complete team Doc Rivers coached, and I'm talking about complete. I'm not talking about
complete team with a bunch of old men. That was not a complete team.
It was a complete team in the sense that they had a year already under their belt before they actually, you know what I mean, put it all together. But they were still.
What I'm saying to you is this: it doesn't. When it comes to Philadelphia, it doesn't matter who's the coach. We're never getting past the second round. But Brown got us to the second round and we lost.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. In the last 6 years, we have lost in the second round in the last 6 years.
15 years ago, nobody was saying, man, the Warriors are going to go on a dynasty run. No, everybody said they can't win. It don't matter. And then what if Mark Jackson got the team he built, took it away, and had somebody
until this day, Mark Jackson is a better coach than Doc Rivers on any level.
That's debatable. That's debatable. That's highly debatable.
I'm not saying Doc Rivers anymore. No matter where he goes outside of Boston, ever since that Boston championship, he gave up leads and he does not have his team prepared. Never.
I like Mark Jackson as far as a spiritual leader of men, but I think his X's and O's can leave something to be desired, and I think Doc kind of has him there.
I don't think Doc is not. To me, Doc
his X's and O's are kind of trash.
That all went out the window. When we got James Harden, they all went out the window.
You got to play a certain type of way. You're paying him $40 million.
I'm gonna tell you why, right? I can tell you why. Us three on the floor. If we was on the floor right now, we knew what the offensive set is looking like coming down the court for the Philadelphia 76ers. It was the most slowest team in the NBA in the playoffs. It was the most predictable offense in the NBA. That's what you do. You put all 4 people down under the rim, and you put James Harden at the top of the key and let him do whatever. You see what happens when you do that on every possession, and you make no adjustments. What adjustments did Doc Rivers make?
I'm trying to figure out.
Nothing. And you know what he did? You know what he did? He put fucking Joel Embiid on Jason Tatum in the third quarter. What type of
those were more switches. I think it was just more schematic shit. They didn't want to hedge. They didn't want to do anything because the backline rotations were kind of slow. They were switching. I think at the end of the day, like you say, Doc X's and O's can leave a little bit to be desired. But I just think that the players, as Max said, the players just came out looking flat. Like there's nothing. You can't coach tenacity. You can't coach aggressiveness. You can implore it, but you can't. There's nothing you can do when the ball gets rolled out. They have to actually play hard.
I'm sorry. I have not seen progression in this 76ers team since Doc Rivers got here. I have not seen none of that.
They're completely different teams.
I've seen the same result year after year after year. I'm tired of that same result.
Okay, I'll say this. Who out there is better than Doc?
You're bugging.
It's going to come to the 76ers. Who better than Doc is going to come to the 76ers?
Monty is better than Doc right now.
He's been
to the finals. He's been to a Western Conference Finals. He advanced.
I think Monty.
The same thing about him.
You got Nick Nurse. That's better than Doc Rivers right now.
I think the ultimate problem is going to be you have 2 main issues. You have James Harden on the team making $40 million. There's really no change unless he has a complete inner overhaul of how he wants to go about approaching the game. then how he plays is how he plays. You have to try to either coach that.
As long as James Harden and Doc Rivers is on his team, the Sixers would never get to a championship.
I think you're paying $70 million to two players that aren't really a part of the system. You need other type of players besides James Harden and freaking Tobias Harris. You're paying them too much money.
You're paying them too much money. What is the system?
I'm saying
the system is basically screen and roll and dump it into Embiid. Embiid, you're gonna be one of the slowest.
And then when that doesn't work, what happens next? What is the alternative to after that? When
you don't have any other. You have Maxey that can kind of switch it up, but you don't have other wing players that can run with him. Tobias doesn't want to run, and neither does James Harden. So if you want to try to run a speed up game where Embiid can kind of, you know what I mean, Embiid can run the floor a little bit enough, but if you want to try to run a faster paced game, you have two players. As I said, you have two players making $70 million that aren't scheme fits for that type of scheme. Like, you have walk it up players. Tobias Harris is a half court post him up type player. If you really want to use him correctly, not really a spot up 3-point shooter, but we would never win with James Harden. Simple as that.
No.
We would never win with James Harden. But at the same time, Doc Rivers has not won. Doc Rivers has not won in almost 2 decades. He has not won a championship in almost 2 decades.
I think a lot of his teams have been good, and some of them have faltered down the stretch due to injury or just due to chemistry. Because even the Clippers situation, I think that the team chemistry was a little out of whack, especially with having his son on the team. Different players not really appreciate the role that his son was being allotted. You know what I mean? You have issues with Chris Paul being an aggressive type leader, but you have like there's good players in freaking Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. They're not really like the low IQ. The IQ disparity has been massive. Like Max said, the last team that he coached that was like a full team was the Boston Celtics. He had veteran leadership and he had young guys that bought in. Freaking Kendrick Perkins bought in. Rondo bought in. Like Tony Allen bought in. These players bought into the scheme and to what they were trying to do.
Look who your general manager is. Look who your general manager is in Boston.
He's going to make the move.
Daryl Morey has not done nothing to prove anything to anybody.
Daryl Morey just wanted to get James Harden. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to get James Harden into Philly.
And to do what? Look at us be back in losing the second round all over again. So for me, as a former 76ers fan, the whole shit is blown up. Because I'm dead ass. Like I'm dead ass. Like the only reason why I really came a 76ers fan was for Allen Iverson, and I stopped watching the Sixers after Allen Iverson left. Only reason why I started coming back because my dad was like, you know what, come back and be a 76ers fan. But why? Why come back? For what? He would have
been a perfect player for you all if he had his confidence. Ben Simmons. Somebody that can run the floor, play defense. Somebody that kiss my ass, another. The thing is, he's another 6'9", 6'10" defender that can run the floor, rebound, and distribute. You can run offense through him. You can play James Harden off the ball. His confidence was just shot. Doc Rivers shot his confidence.
Did you just really say James Harden off the ball?
Man.
In this day,
in this
time in his career right now,
I'll say
in this time in his career right now,
if
he would never play off the ball in this time in his career right now.
I think that would probably be best for him. You spell him at the guard position because he can still spot up and shoot. Though you can't leave James Harden.
That's the thing.
Because who are you trying to get to run the team? I mean, he's not off the ball much. I don't think that they're ready to give the keys to Maxey yet. I think he's a speedy player downhill, but he's not really a decision maker. He's not really a creator. He's not really somebody that facilitates yet. He's not in that mode yet. So James Harden, who's the backup point guard for the team?
He can be if he touched the ball more. Half of his team barely touched the ball, and he got.
paying somebody?
Embiid has the nerve. Embiid has the nerve to go in a press conference that says that.
What did he?
I forgot. He said something.
He said him and Harden.
I'll tell you what he said.
He said him and Harden can't win it alone.
Me and Harden can't do it by ourselves. There's 5 guys on the court. We need all 5 guys to play.
Well, we need your 2 stars to lead on the floor too, right?
Like
we need your 2 stars to lead.
This should have been over with in Philly. This should have been over with in Philly.
Harden did not lead by example. They did not step up to the plate in Game 7. They did nothing to lead.
It shouldn't have reached Game 7. It shouldn't have reached Game 7 at all. It should have never got there. It should have won in Philly.
But at the same time, this is Doc Rivers you talking about when it comes to closing out a team. He has not closed out a team.
I can't say that he's made. I can't say that I saw him make some bad decisions.
It goes back to that. On the court. It's not his game.
I haven't I didn't see him make any like major schematic errors as far as subbing or something like that in Game 7. Game 6 either. I think you all just got outplayed, honestly. Especially in Game 7, clearly. They just got dog walked. But I think Game 6 in your house, they just came out kind of flat, just like it came out in Game 7.
It was more competitive in Game 6 than it was in Game 7. It was way more competitive.
Y'all wasn't winning Game 7.
If you look at the end of the game of Game 6, right? It was 5 minutes left. We gave up 4 turnovers with 5 minutes left. That's the reason why Jason Tatum got hot. Let's keep it real.
Nah,
that's not Doc. That's not Doc's fault though.
I'm not saying it's Doc Rivers. What I'm saying is careless basketball. But at the end of the day, I'm at a point where the process is completely over. It's over. Blow the whole shit up. Blow the whole shit up. If I'm Embiid, I'm gonna tell you why. If I'm Joel Embiid, I do not want to be in Philly anymore. I would never win a championship here. He would never win a championship in Philly. If I'm Embiid, I want to trade. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when it comes to players leaving the Philadelphia 76ers from the past till now, they go on to be better somewhere else. It never fails. We drafted Andre Iguodala. He left the Sixers. He bumped around a little bit, went to the right team that knew how to coach him, and won championships in Golden State. I'm just saying.
I think it's more of the front office. You got to get the right players for your coach. That's it. If the front office don't get you the right players for your system, you then have to change your system.
So we want to keep making that excuses. When the Celtics win that championship with Doc?
I mean, it ain't
2008.
And we in 2023. He has not done nothing since.
Doc's issue, like I said, when he left Boston, he got to a Clippers team that was a good team on paper, but they just had a lot of internal issues between personality clashes and just injuries. Injuries really hampered those teams. Blake Griffin getting hurt.
When everybody was healthy on the court, they dominated. They dominated under Doc's system. But again, like he just touched on, like I even said, injuries. Injuries is the only reason Doc hasn't been back to the finals. Because he could have got that Lakers team to the finals.
What injuries did the Sixers have besides Joel Embiid having a so-called
that's your best.
No.
Doc Rivers this year. I'm talking about this year.
Just talking about the Clippers.
This year, Embiid got hurt, didn't he? Didn't he miss a game?
I think if they go get somebody other than Harden, say Bridges. Say they get Bridges instead of Harden. They trade for Bridges instead of Harden. Now I know Bridges was on the Suns, right? But
let's be honest here. Hold on, man. Let's go back to that because Doc Rivers drafted Mikal Bridges and the Sixers traded him. We drafted him. So whose problem is that? That's the organization.
Doc Rivers didn't trade
the organization.
Isn't the GM?
Doc isn't the GM.
This is why I'm no longer a Sixers fan because it's from top to bottom. It's not just Doc Rivers and the team. It's top to bottom. The top
makes the choices. That's the problem here.
Yeah, the top.
That's why I'm not a Sixers fan.
Some coaches get way more shit than they should because they don't get that. When we go to draft players or when we go to free agents. They're sitting in the room. No, most of them are sitting at home and they don't have no fucking say-so because it's the front office's job to build the team and it's the coach's job to coach that team. But here's the thing. When you have a proven coach that has a proven system, but that coach is rarely allowed to use that system because he doesn't have the personnel.
I mean, he's proven that he can get teams to positions that could be, you know what I mean, fortuitous. Like getting to a game 7.
It's all about what have you done for me lately in that point. It's all about what have you done for me lately. I'm not looking back what he did back in 2008.
I think lately,
what have you done for me lately in the 6 years you have been the coach of the 76ers? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely
in the 6 years, I mean, sorry. He was hamstrung. He was hamstrung with a broken player in Ben Simmons, and they didn't really have a guard. You feel me? They just got Harden last year. He only played 20 games last year, and he played the whole season this year. So it's like, I think he at the end of the day, like I say, you have players that are eating up the cap space and eating up dead money that you don't really have flexibility and options really. Like you need Tobias to get you 20, 25 a game. He can't be a sub 20 scorer making 30 a mil. You can't have Harden out there, you know what I mean, disappearing in certain games. He has to get in better shape. It's shit like that. Like
Douglas, I've been saying this. I knew this was going to happen because I know the past of James Harden. I know this already.
And
we know this already. This is why we won't win championships because
from the front office.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you want to. I would not. When we extended James Harden, I was not happy about that. I was not happy. I was like, let that motherfucker walk. Let him walk. I'm not. I was never for real. Let's be honest. Even back in Houston, I was not a big fan of James Harden. Until then, I'm still not a fan of James Harden. I've never been.
I think initially when he got to Houston, he played a lot different than what he eventually played when he got under Dad Tony, and they really opened up the 3-point, and he just fell back into that. Like that was comfortable for him. Sidestep, dribble, then shoot. Like he's not being asked to play defense. He's not being pressed by the front office or the coaches. The coaching staff can only press but so hard. At the end of the day, he's a $40 million player that's making way more than the coach. So at the end of the day, they're going to get rid of the coach if James Harden feels as though he can't succeed with X-coach, or he feels as though he's not vibing right with X-coach. He's making too much money. They already paid him. That's the problem. When you pay these certain players, you have to know.
I am no longer a 70. You just making my point very clear.
I agree. I'm not trying to argue with you. If you want to
you're not arguing with me. You're making my point very clear on why I should not be a Sixers fan anymore. Because this court starting from the top and all the way to the last person on the bench. That's why I'm no longer representing the Philadelphia 76ers. Because you know why? Even though I'm not even an Eagles fan, they're better in the last 3 years as a football team than they are in a basketball team in the last 6 years. And then the Phillies just went to the World Series last year, and the Sixers still can't get past the second round. I'm done. I am absolutely done.
Oh boy,
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at it. Hey,
I mean,
James Harden never showed up in the 29 games that he did play. In the 29 games that he did play in the playoffs in his career, he's only shooting 30% from the field. In the last 29 playoff games that James Harden has played, he's shooting 30% from the field. We already knew this about James Harden.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I'd rather listen. If the rumors coming out about James Harden wanting to go back to Houston, so fucking be it. Get the fuck out of Philly at this point. Get out.
Yeah. His priority is not being in the best shape to win. His priority is not playing a certain brand of basketball to win. And at the end of the day, he's incentivized to not do so because he's already been paid. He has a guaranteed contract to a certain degree. You know what I mean? There's nothing incentivizing him to play differently. His coach can't get on. I can imagine that Doc isn't a run over, you know what I mean, soft coach. He's never struck me as that type of coach. He struck me as the type of coach that when given the free reign and the leadership, he'll bench a player. He'll have a player bench DNP. He'll have him not play. You can't DNP Harden. How do you do that to Harden?
So look,
how do you do that to Harden? He's healthy.
I watched First Take earlier, right? And they showed a clip of the exit interview for Harden, and the reporter asked Harden, "So, how do you feel about next year? You feel like you and Doc Rivers are on good terms?" And he looks at the reporter and says, "We okay," and then walks off. That tells
it's an issue there. Doc wants more from his starting guard.
Absolutely, and I feel like that's exactly what Doc Rivers told his ass, which is probably
Doc needs more
back to Houston because he said,
player.
"Look, you ain't worth shit. You ain't worth
basically
shit.
I can imagine
he's not worth nothing, bro.
You had 2 good games.
I can imagine
2 out of 7. 2 out of 7 games.
Man.
I can imagine that Doc is a very spicy, very fiery coach. Like I said, coming from coaching Rondo and then coaching CP, I can imagine he has a certain level of expectation coming from his guard position.
I feel like in this series, when it came to certain games, it looked like from what I saw, it looked like Doc kind of like fell back a little bit. I'm not saying much, but it like he kind of fell back in this series a little bit. And I don't know. It wasn't all the games. You see him coach up. You see him coach this team up in certain games in this series, but you see that when you watch the game and they see y'all in the huddle, in some games you told Doc was like, "Do you want this game or not?" And then you have some games
he's trying to implore his players too much.
You look at access, you like, what the hell is Doc talking about to this team?
Right.
If
you're in game 6 and game 7 still trying to get players to play hard, that's a problem. If you're still trying to convince them to play hard in game 6 at home with all the marbles, and then game 7 on the road in a place that he's familiar with, he knows what's coming when y'all get there. So it's like, if Doc can't, if he's still trying to do that, that's a problem. I wouldn't say that he's lost the team, but he's lost connection with certain star players on the team, clearly. As in, you know what I mean, James Harden, and you see his exit.
Because I just feel like when the players go out there, they do what they want. I think Doc, he puts them in certain sets, but I think James Harden, like it was one play that I watched in the game, and James Harden was telling everybody to clear out. Maxey went like this.
Yeah.
Doing again?
He's pissed. I don't think for real. I think the players don't want Harden there either at this point.
Yeah, if you go through the tape, though, if you go through the tape, watch Doc Rivers almost every time during the third quarter when he's sitting there telling them, yelling, you can see him yelling a play and telling them what to do, and they don't do it, and he just like, you know what? He goes and sits down and just sits in his seat like, you know, what the fuck am I doing here? I got players that don't listen. And it's James Harden. James Harden was the main one. You take James Harden out of there and go get you a couple role players. Get Tobias out of there. And get like a Brogdon type dude.
You need more players like that. Like their bench, besides Maxey, they don't have many players that can create. They don't have many players that can hit a shot. Not a 3-point specialist or any type of, like, you know what I mean, just attack and closeout type guys. They're not really many switchable defenders on the team.
This is the last
different players. You're talking about a completely different game.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I understand you're mad at the Sixers, but to say I'm not going to be a Sixers.
No. I'm sorry. And listen, I'm Philly breed, but I'm just not going to. I'm not going to continue.
That argument to me as a Wizards fan is like, every time we've been disappointed, every time we've been fucking kicked in the nuts, every time we've had our GM
that's the Wizards, though, bro.
our future.
That's the Wizards. The Wizards aren't used to. The Wizards aren't used to winning. The Wizards haven't won since what? West Unseld? Like, they're not used to winning. They're just not used to being.
But the whole thing is, we had multiple years where we were at least kind of relevant in the playoffs with arenas. Then we had almost a 5-year run with John Wall, Beal, Morris.
Well, my question to you is this:
any of those teams were championship teams, though?
Matt, let me ask you this question though. Any of the teams that you named, any of the teams that you named, Mac, was the Wizards a top
MVP
5 team in those years? Was the Wizards a top 5 team in those years?
5 at the most. 5 at the most, maybe 5th or 6th at the most.
Your 76ers
years, top 10, absolutely. Because they play defense.
I'm talking about going into a playoff. Was y'all a top 5 team in the playoffs ever?
No.
And this is where the difference between the Wizards and the 76ers. We're always top 3 in those playoffs.
Yeah, the Wizards. The Wizards
always top 3. Like
I say,
I don't think we was. Most of the time, we're second or third in the Eastern Conference every year.
There is no championship DNA with the Wizards.
Look at your coach. Your coach is why that's happening. You losing the playoffs.
Just say that earlier.
Players. When your coach can get you to a game 6 or a game 7 and you can win, and you don't, that's no longer on the coach. This has been going on with Doc Rivers every year since he's been here. We've been a top 2 or top 3 team in the East going into the playoffs, and we never get past the second round.
As I always said, the playoffs are a different breed. It's all about matchups. You're playing the same team at least 4 times. You're not playing the Toronto Raptors on a random Tuesday in November. Like, it's not the same thing. And then never seeing them again for 3-4 months. When you get into the playoffs and by the time the playoffs start, teams are already settled in their tendencies. They're settled in the way that they're going about their plays and stuff. So when you get another team that's a great defensive team, the Boston Celtics are a mediocre defensive team. They're a great defensive team. They're top 5 in defense almost every year for the past 4 or 5 years. They're a great defensive team. They have legit bigs that can contest and play defense. You have legit wings that can contest and play defense. And they have multiple type of players that can create a shot, that can attack a closeout, that can make something happen and play defense. So they are what you want the Sixers to be. They have players that you would want the Sixers to generally have. Like Derek White would be perfect for this team. A spacer, somebody that can move the ball, won't take a dumb shot, will play defense, will rebound, will just play the right way. You need more players like that. Maxey's the only young guy that I can see that you trust giving the ball to out at the top of the key. Who else you trust giving the ball to?
I'm gonna be completely honest here with the situation with Tobias Harris. If you look at the Brooklyn stats, I know it's Brooklyn, but they made it to the playoffs regardless.
Yeah.
He was averaging 20 in them playoff series.
Look at the matchup. Look at the matchups, though.
And I understand that. But if you look at how we played against Brooklyn, it was totally different how we played against Boston. We were not aggressive in this series at all against Boston. We were not aggressive. But the thing about it is, if you look at it, it's been times where Tobias got steals. When Tobias got steals, they got offensive rebounds. It helped that team turn the ball over, and he came back down and on the offensive side and never touched the ball after that on multiple possessions that I saw in this series.
The issue with Tobias is that he's similar to DeAndre Ayton in this respect, that he's not overly aggressive. No, I'm gonna tell you why. He's not overly aggressive in trying to go out there and just not hijack a play, but just like take over. I'm me, I can take over. He doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have that drive in him to just like be dominant on any given play. Like you say,
season he was a totally different scorer. He played a totally different role before James Harden got there.
I mean, for sure. I mean, the role is going to change.
Only 30?
Huh?
Tobias Harris is only 30? Wow, man,
he's only 30, but this is what I'm saying. It all goes back to James Harden, because when James Harden comes in and be your point guard, it changes everybody else's role as a player. And he did that in Houston, and now he did it in Brooklyn, and now he's doing it in Philly.
Tobias has already shown not to be a 1A player. He's not a B player. He's borderline barely a C player. He's a nice third option. He's a nice third option.
I think the potential is there, but I think as James
potential get coaches fired.
You hinder that. You hinder that when James Harden is on the floor. You hinder that.
The best version of Tobias that we've seen was in Orlando when he was the number one option, and he only averaged 20 points a game. He
had a great career. He had a great years before he got traded from the Clippers.
He was okay. That's what I'm saying. In Orlando, that's what I'm saying. In Orlando, that was okay. He was okay when he was the man. He was averaging 20. Like, he's shown to be, somebody that you can, as a third option, you will be okay with. He can win, but he's not. He doesn't have that overall aggressiveness in hunting shots and wanting to be the dog on the team or hunting out matchups. He just doesn't have that in him. And like you say, in the Brooklyn series, I think the matchup dictated that he was going to have a decent series because of who was guarding him. They had Tyler Johnson on him, or freaking not Tyler Johnson, but the other Johnson, young kid from Philly. I'm from Phoenix. Who they had on him? Dinwiddie. Like, he wasn't being guarded by the best defender. They had Royce O'Neal trying to guard Embiid. He had Mikal Bridges trying to guard freaking Harden. So it was like the matchups dictated that he would have a solid series if he was aggressive. But then you get it against Boston, and they have too many like-sized defenders that can shut that shit down. That's just basically it. And he's not aggressive and looking for a shot.
Touching the ball, you can't do nothing when you touching the
ball. He's got to go get the ball.
He don't get the ball. This is my thing. If you know that he can shoot and he can't be aggressive, to me, he only had only 4 5 to 6 shots in 4 quarters. That goes for you not touching the ball, correct?
Yeah. I mean, you got to be aggressive.
What to expect from a guy that only shoots the ball 6 times out of 4 quarters?
Yeah,
you really can't do nothing then. You really can't. It's like me. It's like you. It's like James Harden scoring with shooting the ball. He's like 9 of 20, but we only get 4 shots. That's crazy to me.
The craziest thing is that Harden wasn't even really shooting that much outside of the game that he went off in. Harden wasn't shooting that much. Harden wasn't taking a lot of shots. He took about 11 shots last game. He wasn't shooting the ball. He was pretty much giving it up to them. Like the thing was, I think the defense got to Harden. Jaylen Brown's defense got to him. Marcus Smart and these guys eventually it just warmed down. Like he's not used to that because he's not in the best physical shape. He wants to play a slow up, walk it up type basketball. He's being hounded and pestered from fucking inbound. Like, that's not his game. It's not what he wants to do.
I'm no longer a Sixers fan.
Hey, I agree with you.
I did the LeBron James and I took my talents to Miami. That's exactly what I did. I put the LeBron James on them. I made the decision. Damn it, I made the decision.
And the thing is, with Miami,
I'll say this: I hope Miami don't never win another championship.
And you know what though? The thing about this, I'd rather us not win another championship, but at least we tried.
Miami's in a funny position. Miami's in a funny position because they're basically in win now mode. A lot of their players are older. The players that they're depending on, you know what I mean, in certain roles are older, and they have a lot of undrafted guys that are just like, you know, placeholders. This team is going to see a kind of an overhaul within the next 2 or 3 seasons, and it's like Bam may still be there, and maybe Jimmy will still be there because he's still in his like early mid-30s. So it's like, how old is Jimmy? 32, 33? Like, he doesn't have that much left in him the way that he plays. And you got guys like Lowry, Kevin Love, you know what I mean?
For me, as me being a new Miami Heat fan, it all starts from top to bottom. It starts
for sure.
With your organization being a good organization, bringing in players.
So hold on. Can I ask this question, right? If Eric Spoelstra and the Heat lose to the Boston Celtics,
I'll still be a Heat fan.
No. Should Eric be fired? Because that's multiple years.
No.
But that's my point with Doc.
No, but this is my thing. Eric Spoelstra is doing more with less than what Doc Rivers got.
For sure.
Come
that's
on.
Not even a question. That's not even a question.
That's not even a question. Real.
I mean,
that's not even a question.
Listen.
He's doing less. He's doing more with less.
No. Eric Spoelstra has a better complete team than the 76ers this year and last.
You think so? That's debatable. That's highly debatable. That's high.
No, it's not. How is it debatable?
I think it's debatable
do the Sixers have? How many facilitators do they have? Who's their sixth man? Who's their guys coming off the bench? I don't know. I don't know.
It's all about how you're coached. It's all about how you're coached.
I think when you come to coaching,
this Miami team buys into what Eric Spoelstra is saying to them.
Yeah, that's all it is. They buy in. They buy in and they don't take a lot of. They don't do a lot of.
Buy into what Doc Rivers is saying.
They have a clear plan. The Heat have a clear plan that they've been running for years.
I would say James Harden won't buy in.
That's obvious. James Harden hasn't even.
Obvious, but let's be honest. Let's be honest, right?
You eliminate James Harden from the 76ers. Any one of the other top 10 guards in his place.
Let's look at this though. Miami wasn't even going to make the playoffs. They lost their first play-in game. They lost their first play-in game to Chicago on their home floor.
Yeah, they have dogs on their team. They have a team full of dogs. Exactly. The whole team's full of dogs. They
have a team that's have a will to win.
Yes, they have
a complete
team.
That's what but they're not a complete team, though. They have a few guys that can do some things, but they're not really like a team that you, outside of Jimmy, like who else is really like the creator? You got Kyle Lowry on the team. Kyle Lowry's, you know what I mean? He's okay. You got Vincent running the show. Kyle Lowry is okay. He's not a
veteran guard.
He's a veteran. I like Kyle Lowry, but he's not better than Maxey. We're not going to say that. He's not better than Maxey.
You're not going to say that.
As a creator, absolutely.
I'm just saying, but he's not a better player than Maxey. He's not a better player than
Miami and Philadelphia is this.
I mean,
no matter the climb that they was able to get through in these playoffs to knock off Giannis Antetokounmpo in those Milwaukee Bucks, where everybody thought the Milwaukee Bucks was guaranteed an Eastern Conference final spot. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I went live for these games, a lot of people say, oh, Milwaukee is going to sweep Miami.
They should have.
They was wrong about that because I picked Miami in an upset. People said that the Knicks was going to dog walk Miami. They saying that. I said, no, they're not. Watch how Miami pulled this off. If Miami pulled it off, they keep proving everyone wrong in this series. Because you know where that comes from? That comes from leadership of your coaches and buying into a system that actually works. Yeah. That's the difference between the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. Plain and simple. You can't tell me Gabe Vincent is better than James Harden because he's not. But at the same time, Gabe Vincent has been more efficient than James Harden.
You're talking about something completely different. James Harden was the man. Like, without James Harden buying into your system, it ruins your entire game plan. It ruins your entire scheme. It ruins everything. If James Harden doesn't buy in, you only need the one person to fuck everything up, and that's who it was. He fucked everything up. Again, that's what I'm saying.
Because he's not going to play defense. He's not going to play defense, and you can't really say anything about him not playing defense.
So my next question is this then. Before James Harden got there, and we already knew Ben Simmons was out the door, it wasn't the Philadelphia 76ers organization had no plan. They had no plan.
I mean, they had no plan because
Ben Simmons was out the door.
Because Ben Simmons folded. That's why they didn't have a plan, because Ben Simmons didn't develop. They didn't. He that was more so incumbent on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons didn't take the offseason workouts seriously enough. He didn't take refining his craft serious enough, and he came back every year almost a lesser player than the year before. That's on Ben Simmons.
That proves my point that you went after Ben Simmons got traded, and you traded for a desperate James Harden that so-called wanted out of Brooklyn. Because he wasn't getting the ball as much as Kyrie and Kevin Durant, which is well deserving of, because you just played like shit when you was in Brooklyn anyway. He
played solid. He was the only one that played hard. He played with a bum hamstring. I think the issue with Brooklyn was that Kyrie basically hijacked the whole entire situation with all the off the court bullshit, and it became more about that than basketball. It wasn't about basketball anymore. He wasn't having fun playing basketball. It's just too much day-to-day drama. Get me the hell out of here. I would have wanted to get the hell out of Brooklyn too.
Can I ask this question? If James Harden made $10 million a year instead of 40, does he get benched?
No. Yeah, he gets benched. He gets benched easily. If he's making 10,
you know why?
And not 40,
you know why he doesn't get benched? You know why he doesn't get benched?
How?
Because they're gonna say, "Oh, you're going to bench your former MVP."
Absolutely.
$10 million. He ain't making shit.
Look at him. That's what the consensus of the media will say.
We're paying him $40 million a year. He needs to be playing.
Hear me out. This is what the consensus of the media will say. That's not what I'm saying.
The media.
That's what the consensus with the media will say. Oh, you're bitching a former NBA player, a 4 scoring champion. Da 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 da.
It don't help you now if he was making $10 million, I think that would almost reflect his production, because even still, as we're sitting here talking about, he was a 20-10 player throughout the season. It's the playoffs that kind of get to him, because on these teams, the schemes and the things that they want to do with him have just not worked. When he was in Houston, it was just jack a bunch of threes. It didn't work. They went 0 for like 17 or 0 for 20 on threes at one point in the game. They completely shot themselves out of the game, even though they were one of the highest three-point shooting teams in the league. Then he gets here and he's making $40 million a year. He's averaging 20 and 10. Only 3 players did that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? But the scheme that you all want to run, you want to run post-ups for Embiid. You want to slow down, get the big fella involved, get him the ball. But that's kind of like archaic in the sense of how the rest of the NBA is playing these days. Like, not too many teams are playing that way.
And if you look at all the teams that's in the playoffs right now, you see so much movement in the offense of the 4 teams that's in the conference finals right now.
I think Boston will be the low end of that. Boston will probably be on the low end of movement.
Boston moves without the basketball. The Denver Nuggets offense moves without the basketball. So does the Miami Heat. What does the Philadelphia 76ers do? Split everybody on the 3-point line and just work the 2-man game with Joel Embiid and James Harden. That's the most predictable offense in the NBA. That's why they're not in the Eastern Conference Finals.
What offense are you going to run with James Harden? What else are you going to do with James Harden? James Harden's not going to run. He's not going to defend. He's going to be bad in transition. What are you going to do with him?
Yeah, he doesn't move off the ball.
This is why we're not there. This is why we're not there.
He has no. Doc Rivers, I'm blaming it on James Harden.
I'm blaming it on the GM.
It's all on James Harden.
James Harden and the GM because the coach is empowered to bench him because he's making too much money. I can't bench him. How do I bench the $40 million player?
How do I get a guy to look at what he's doing is fucking wrong? How do I get a guy?
He's already paid.
Y'all just making my resignation even better. Y'all just giving the points of my resignation even better, y'all. Y'all just giving mad points of.
I'm mad at it. I'm just saying. Doc Rivers should not be penalized for the shitty play of overpaid motherfuckers. That's why. That's AKA James fucking Harden.
Yeah,
at this point,
it's the playoffs. You should be putting up 30 points.
Get Daryl, just blow everything up
every night.
Hey, get Daryl out of there. The process was working. The process seemed to be the process was working in the sense that you all were sucked. You all suck. You got players, you got assets to trade and move, and B showed himself to be the star out of the three that you drafted between Markelle Fultz and freaking y'all would gladly take Markelle Fultz right now, a guard that plays defense and distributes the ball and attacks downhill and scores.
The problem with Markelle Fultz is that he can't stay on the floor.
Jimmy Butler.
That's the only problem with Markelle Fultz.
Never let Jimmy Butler get out.
I agree. Yeah, y'all should have never let Jimmy get out of there, for sure. 1,000%. 1,000%.
I'm gonna tell you why Jimmy left though. I'm gonna tell you why Jimmy left though. If you gotta look at it, Jimmy didn't leave.
Put that fifth spot.
Jimmy didn't leave when Doc Rivers was there. He left because Brett Brown was there. That was
that's true.
Difference.
That's true. That's true. Brett Brown.
I think if Doc Rivers was the coach, Jimmy would have never left. I don't think Jimmy would have left.
He believed in Ben Simmons too much. Yeah. I think that was Brett Brown's problem.
I think if Doc Rivers was here when Jimmy was in Philadelphia, I think Jimmy would have stayed. But it was
y'all would have been got rid of Ben too. Y'all would have been flipped Ben when he had value. Y'all would have flipped him then for somebody better than James Harden. Instead of just trying to flip him as far as a contract flip, it would have been you'd have been able to get young assets for him because he was young. But you know what I mean? They should have seen that coming down a mile away.
But this is my problem with Philadelphia because I saw it. Like, one thing about me, I watched the NBA draft. I watched college basketball. I watched Ben Simmons at LSU do nothing. He averaged the same amount of points that he's averaging in the NBA. He did nothing. He was not even deserving to be the number one overall pick. He wasn't.
The scouting report was out there. The scouting report was already out on him. Like, he didn't have that drive in him.
And I didn't understand what the Sixers was doing with picking him first of all. Everybody like, oh, we got a next generational player. This is what all these Sixers people say. I'm saying, watch when I tell you what Ben Simmons thinks it up in the NBA. And I told my brother that, and look what happens.
It's the LeBron effect. After LeBron came into the league, everybody was looking for the next 6'9" forward that could pass like magic and run the floor. And then we can try to cultivate.
Though. If you look at it, it's generational.
Yeah, that's true too.
You're not gonna see another you'll never see another Kobe Bryant. You'll never see another Michael Jordan. You will never see another LeBron James. You just won't. That's why the hype for Zion was the same way too.
We have spent an hour talking about the Sixers.
Oh, don't listen. We can move on. I don't care. Y'all listen. I'm fine. Miami Heat. Go Eric Spoelstra. That's
go Eric Spoelstra. Go Heat.
Heat. You know what? Watch this. We can go to the next topic though, and that next topic is Ja Morant. I want to get into Ja Morant too because this situation here, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, saying that he will have a lengthy suspension for this. Now the question is, when did this live actually happen? And what made me mad about what Woj was saying was like, oh, is that really a gun holding in his hand? If you look at the video, you know what a gun look like. You know how you hold a gun. That's absolutely a gun in his hand.
The same fake gun lighter. Let's using the same fake gun lighter. But I think that the issue, me personally, I think that the initial shit, because it was in the club, I think that's the only thing that made it like a big thing. You were in a professional establishment with a firearm, which is totally like against the law. But I think that even with this video, I don't see the issue with it. I see plenty of players, coaches, GMs, owners, they're posting videos of themselves with guns, hunting, all this type of shit. I think that the media just they overblow it because of the hood and just the gangster rap, you know what I mean, persona of it all, and just like you think that everybody's running around shooting everybody. I don't get it.
I think the reason why the NBA is making a situation out of this because of what Ja Morant did 2 months ago. The last season was 2 months ago, and he came out and he stated that he has to make better decisions. He even went into like this getaway, an 8-day getaway to try to get his mind.
That shit wasn't going to work. 8 days.
Yeah, like, I don't know how long it was, but
he's young.
I think that's why I feel like the situation. I think the first time the NBA slapped him on the wrist with the 8-game suspension, you came back 2 months later and you did the same thing. Okay, you abide by the 8-game suspension. You said you was going to try to do better. and you know that you are a public figure, you are a NBA player, you should understand the situation that even if your homeboys is going to go live, don't put yourself in a situation like that from the get-go. Tell your man, like, listen, turn that live off, bruh.
What's the issue with him holding the gun, though?
He's driving in a car. He's driving in a car.
He's in the car.
The issue is in the car. Yeah, I understand you holding a gun, but like the thing is, if you look at a lot of
sitting in your house cleaning your gun, you at the range shooting your gun. You know what I mean? You're at your house sitting in your basement
in a car,
showing your guns.
And you just recently
you're in a car. You're in a car with a guy on live, and you flashing the gun. You lift your shit up to flash.
You did the same thing 2 months ago on the same social media platform.
You know what the NBA needs to do? Send his ass to Scared Straight. Let him go to prison for a month.
Oh my God.
Let him. No. You want to be gangster? You want to play with guns? You want to sit here and be a tough Tony motherfucker? Go send his ass to Scared Straight. Let him go to.
I think, like you said, I think the environment. I think it was just the circumstances behind it. If you want to say that he's wrong for being in the car with a gun, then I guess you could say that. I guess, but it's just like you say, if he's in any other environment with a gun, then it's not a problem. So I don't think that just merely having the gun is the issue. I just think that the optics of it. I think
what's going on, Prince?
I think the optics. I think it's just the optics of it. Like, I don't know.
At the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to Ja Morant, you got in trouble on the same social media platform for going live and showing a gun. The fact that your homeboy that you was in the car with while you was holding the gun went live, that gives me some suspect there. Like, yo, bro, I just went through that. You gotta be mindful in that situation. Like, listen, bro, I just went through this. I'm not trying to get myself.
I wonder if that video's old. Because this wasn't that long ago. He had the colorful dreads in his head. I wonder if that video's older.
When it comes to the video, you really can't tell when the video was actually recorded.
I wonder if it was old. It seems like an older video.
But you got to think about it too, that when this is what people felt, because I'm really big on social media. I do a lot of social media stuff. I'm live right now on social media right now. Mm. When that live ends, I could delete it.
Yeah.
The live was probably never deleted. Or what they did was they screen recorded it. And
somebody screen recorded it. Yeah. Somebody screen recorded that live.
But that's the problem with people on social media. If you're going to do stuff like that and you're going to go live and you're done with the live, delete it, because you can never get it back after that.
Right.
And but at the end of the day, Ja Morant should be mindful of, like, listen, bro, I got this gun in here. You can't be live while I got this gun in here, bro.
I watched the video 3 times, and every one of them videos, they literally look like he leaned back to pull that motherfucker out to show it. You showed it off. You showed it off.
He's young. The problem is he's young and impressionable. That's the problem. He's young. He's not 30 years old. He's not a 30-year-old vet. He's not this, you know what I mean? This person that's used to having money and shit like that. Like, I think that he's just at a state of his life. Fuck his career. He's at a state of his life where he's still developing mentally and still trying to make the right decisions with money. You give these people that's from less fortunate situations, and you give them multi-million dollars, and they have nothing but free time on their hands. Just the type of dumb shit that they do. It's been proven.
Am I wrong here? Isn't his dad around?
It's the company you keep as well.
I think that I mean, his dad being around is not. His dad can't make decisions for him, though. He can't. He's the breadwinner. I'm the money man. Yo, the Miami background is killing me.
This is what I'm saying, right? I didn't have a dad to tell me what my path needs to be. But I'll be damned, I'm gonna let my son do stupid shit as far as I can let him. You know what I mean? As far as outside of my son is in the league, I'm gonna be in that ass every single day.
Outside of watching him every day, you know what I mean? Being around him every single day, it's just almost impossible for him to be there monitoring police.
Be there every day.
I mean, because that could have happened on the day that his dad wasn't with him.
Hey man, remind him. Don't make no stupid decisions today. I love you.
I
want to see you enjoy the rest of your life.
I'm gonna keep it straight up here, and I said this on my
Facebook. He got a target on his back as a young black man in this country. But now you're sitting here playing stupid games. You're gonna win stupid prizes. What happens if he in that car, he gets out that car, and they're still streaming a video and they're making a video, and the police pull up and shoot him? That would be a humongous tragedy.
I'm gonna say this though.
Things like that, like I have to worry about my son. I'm like, man, you're big. You get in a fight with somebody, they're not gonna just want to fight you. You know what I mean? You're a 6'5", 15-year-old. They're gonna think you're a grown man. They're gonna try to shoot you, stab you, hurt you, kill you because they're gonna be scared. You can't just go fight people.
Now this is what I'm gonna say. What I said on Facebook, and I'm gonna be completely honest about this. Like I said, I think he never changed the company that he keeps after he got drafted. That's just my personal opinion in that situation. And I just feel like because he has the money that he has, he think he could get away with shit. And I'm gonna be completely honest there, because he got a slap on the wrist in the NBA. People like, you know what? Most black people, right, when they get a slap on the wrist, they're going to end up doing shit again. Most black people do it. And I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking basketball, because I know, because I live in a violent. Y'all live in a violent city of Baltimore. I live in a violent city of Philadelphia.
Yeah. So it's like, we get it. I get it. It's like when you don't bring the hammer down the first time, then it's like, like you say, they will just continue the bad behavior. Unfortunately, the bad behavior will continue.
And that's what I can agree in this situation. He felt as though that he had money, that he was able to go on social media and think he was going to get away with it. And he didn't. You got caught twice.
That's all it was. He thought he would get away with something. He's in both. He's I think it also plays a part into the environment that he's in. The company he keeps, and also Memphis. Like Memphis is another example of like a Philly, like a Baltimore that's like really like crime oriented. Like they have all the rappers are all on front row.
The difference between our cities and their cities is that everybody's allowed to carry at will.
Yeah, that's true.
In Tennessee.
That's why I'm trying to figure out like, what's the issue. If he's legally allowed to carry, I think it's just the optics of it that makes it the issue.
If you have a gun, don't even go on social media at all.
That's just that's hood policy.
A lot of people being killed, especially when it comes to rappers, when it comes to celebrities, because everybody think they have those fingers and type on a keyboard and think they tough.
Listen, that's hood. That's always been hood policy. You don't show the gun unless you plan on using it anyway.
So listen, I'm gonna take it almost exactly how Kendrick Perkins put it on First Take earlier, and for my own personal life. Like, bro, I did some illegal stuff. I wasn't a good person at one time. I was locked up for multiple years. So it like when you're coming from that type of background and you see people do foolish shit for no other reason but trying to get clout, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like it doesn't.
Clout chasing is a problem. That's like I say, the environment and the people that he's around from when he got drafted to the new group of motherfuckers that he's cultivated with, being in the city of Memphis, late night, you know what I mean, party, the whole party scene. You got Yo Gotti, you got Big 30, you got plenty of people down in Memphis that can influence him in a negative direction, irregardless of his background or his upbringing. Like the environment you keep and the environment that you're cultivated in, it bleeds over into your personality all the time. So it's like, I'm not surprised or shocked. He's a fresh young kid on the scene. You know what I mean? He's young, impressionable, and that's the type of shit that happens.
Understand that as he has to understand, being an NBA player, you're representing a brand. Let's go into that aspect. You're representing a brand. You have a Nike contract that's making you good money. You have a Powerade contract that you're making good money from, and they want to keep seeing this, and they're gonna start taking those endorsements and those brands away from him if he doesn't get his act together. Listen, it's a lot of players right now, they will wish to be in Ja Morant's shoes right now.
For sure.
And seeing that's my point, because his father and everybody around him should be like, hey, fool, the people that are helping you get yourself in trouble are not your friends. Your friends would want you to succeed and want to make sure you secure that bag, not put your bag in jeopardy, put your life in jeopardy, put your career in jeopardy. Like people who, when I grew up and I lived in the hood, we had all the little hoopers. We had the little wannabe NFL stars, and these kids were good. We all know them kids. Most of them made it out the hood. Some of them didn't. But the whole point is, like, as people, we sold drugs. We robbed people. But guess what we did? We looked out for them little homies. Nah, bro, don't sell no drugs. You got a future. You go to college and play ball. Like, it was you always try to look out for their best interest, even though it ain't your best interest. Your best interest. Say, hell yeah, come over here, homie. Come. Nah, bro. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you do something that most people in this neighborhood will never get to do.
Agreed.
So it's like, if you are not influenced by good people, then you're not around your friends. You're not around the people that you need to be surrounded by. And in the extension, that's why I'm saying the people around him, the Memphis Grizzlies as a whole, like, nah.
Yeah,
nah,
Dylan Brooks think he's some type of gangster and stuff like that. Like,
see, Dylan Brooks think he's more so a pimp than a gangster.
No problem.
He's more pimpy than gangster.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Make your own gangster fucking movie. You can do all the gangster shit you want on.
Look at
film.
the team, though. That's why I say, look at the team, look at the environment. You're not hearing about this shit coming from out of Toronto. You're not hearing about this shit coming out of Indiana. You're not hearing about this shit coming out of Milwaukee. You're hearing about it coming from down south, one of the most dangerous cities, top 5 every year. Memphis, Tennessee. Like,
even though LA is violent as hell, you ain't even hearing it out of LA.
Yeah, LA is still more Hollywood, Tinseltown than gangster shit. That's more of the out front persona. Down you pull back the layers, then you see like the gangs and the shit like that. But a lot of that shit isn't close to freaking the stadium and shit.
So
you know what I mean? Or even
right.
Sacramento or Golden State. Like, you know what I mean? Even places like Chicago.
If I'm John Morant right now, I'll give a call to LeBron James. If you need somebody that puts you on a narrow path, LeBron James is one of those type of figures that
love him or hate him. He hasn't been in any type of trouble that we can pull up. That I can Google.
But LeBron James is more LeBron James is very influential when it comes to young black kids. He's very influential in that situation. So if you want to look to a person to get this whole situation get your life around, start hanging around people like LeBron, but like successful like LeBron James. He definitely will never, you'll never probably see the day of life of any of those guys. Because I know for a fact LeBron lived in a state of Ohio, in the city of Cleveland, in the city of Akron, where it was just as bad as any other city in the United States. Akron is terrible.
Yeah, it was.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So LeBron
he didn't grow with a father, so he knows.
But LeBron showed, like, listen, I'm not going to be the product of my environment.
It's like, who's the veteran? Who's the veteran voice of leadership on that team that looks like him? It's not Steven Adams.
In which I agree, but this is where the brotherhood comes in as the NBA. This is where the brotherhood comes in at, because we unify for everything else. But what players are actually reaching out to John Morant right now to try to get him on the right track?
Look, I can almost guarantee at least a good couple 100 people have reached out to John Morant to try to help him.
Reached out to his camp at least.
And this has been over the last few months to try to help him, guide him, do something for him. And I hate to say this, like it's on that catalyst of being young and dumb, man. And unfortunately now I'm happy he has money, but it's the unfortunate part of money. Once you give somebody money, they feel like, oh, you can't tell me nothing.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
Now you become delusional in your own head, thinking that you only have to answer for what you want to answer for.
I am John Morant, and I do what the hell I want. That's the mentality that it is.
The NBA is going to say, look, we want to see major changes in proof. We don't want you to go to a fucking retreat. We want you to go to actual therapy sessions. We want you to go talk to somebody. We want proof. If not, you're going to have a steep, it's going to be steep. It's not going to be 10 games. It's not going to be, 25 games. And that's what most people think it's going to be. But if he shows no improvement to stopping I want to say the stupid shit.
Or getting out of the tabloids or getting out of the news, basically.
Like, come on, get your shit together. Or you know what? You'll sit out next year. We'll give you a 1-year suspension. We'll come back in a year from now. If you haven't improved, then you know what? We're gonna have to leave you out of the NBA. It's that.
Now I want to say this will be. It has for me. It has to happen. For me, it has to happen again.
As an impact to our young kids, lots and lots. You're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of kids look up to this man and are watching his social media and seeing him play with guns. Now, I don't care what anybody says. I used to do it too. I wanted guns because I saw the gangsters in the movies with guns. I want to sell drugs because that's what I saw the gangsters do. Like that's what you said. Okay, I think that's cool. That's what I'm going to want to go do. It wasn't until I got older and I actually got charged and I had to deal with the consequences of my actions. Before I sat down with a therapist and I realized like what I thought was wrong. But because I didn't have somebody sitting there helping, guiding me and telling me, hey, man, this is wrong. You're going to ruin your entire life because of this, you know, and that's what I'm saying. So for this man to get all of this towards him and try to, all these people want to help him. The NBA wants to help him. And for him to continue, like still not treat this as a serious matter.
Young and dumb, bro. He ain't at the age. If he was 30 plus making these same silly decisions.
Can you trust him? Can you trust him?
If he was 30 plus years old making these same silly decisions, then I can see. But he's not even 26 yet. Is he 25? He's still young as shit.
Man,
I understand the youngness of it, but this is a repetitive thing in our community as a black man.
Not 16.
It's a repetitive thing.
This is stupid shit that 16-year-olds do, not 26-year-olds.
This is stupid shit that young dudes make money.
If you weren't a gangster, you know what I mean? If you weren't a gangster when it was time to be a gangster, when you were young and you were in your teenage years, and then you wait till you're 26 years old and you got everything on the line, now you want to be a gangster? What? I mean, literally, it's the same thing that we see on a regular basis here in Baltimore. You see the guys who lived a normal life up until they were 30, had a similar kind of midlife crisis. Now they want to be a gangster and they want to carry around a gun and they want to be this tough guy. Oh, you ain't gonna disrespect me. I don't care what nobody says. And literally, and all of a sudden their persona, now I'm tough, I'm hardcore. What? You make no sense. You've made it to 30 without doing dumb shit. And all of a sudden you want to get to this point and throw your whole life away. And that's what I feel like he's on the cusp of doing. He's only got one more strike, one more stupid thing like this that is going to get him bounced out of the NBA.
Absolutely. I just think it has to come down to getting the help that he needs. And I feel like if he does this again, he should be done from the NBA. If you don't learn your lesson after this situation, knowing that you're suspended indefinitely from the Memphis Grizzlies, and this year, I think it should be more than 25 games because it's within a 2-month span. I think it should be more. I think it should be. For real, I think it should be a half a season.
Well, so I'm going to say this. Now, I agree with 25 games. That's if he's proven that he's made real changes. If he changed his inner circle, if he goes and does therapy and gets the actual help to find the reason why he like all of this is happening, and then talk to somebody about what's going on, how he feels, why he's feeling the way he's feeling, because this you don't do this type of things without knowing it's going to cause controversy, and especially the second time. You know they're looking for you. The NBA is looking through all of your lives, all of your feeds to find anything suspect.
I want to know what he's going to say. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the statement. Is he going to say that this was old? There's some shit that they were digging through, or is he going to try to, you know what I mean, try to run the apology game again? I really want to see how he responds.
I want to see his reaction as well, and it really would make me realize what type of person that we dealing with here with John Morant. If he comes out and make a statement, if his statement is like he don't care and he has this body language of like, yeah, my bad.
It's me versus the world. It's Ja versus the world.
Like he be like this, my bad. Like he lean like, okay, my bad. Like,
if he tries to defend it or if he tries to downplay it, you know what I mean, to a certain degree, then we can really know what type of guy we're dealing with. Because habits are hard to break. It don't matter what age you are, honestly. If you're young, even when you're younger, they're even harder to break, I think, than when you're older, because you don't have the experience to see the shit that you should or shouldn't do. When you're young and you're dumb, you're making first time decisions and they're fucked up. Then it's like shit. You're gonna keep making those same fucked up decisions over and over again. Honestly, if you don't have anybody in your corner, it's hard for some. It's hard for some people, young, impressionable people with a lot of money, to sit there within themselves and make the right decision, because they're not always. They're just not going to do it. They need people behind them, like their fathers, or like people that are on their level professionally and shit like that, that really show them the way that they shouldn't do shit. But you know what I mean? Hey, he live in a city where the shit is accepted, and his environment is dictating his actions. Personally.
So
he ain't living in South Memphis. He ain't living in the goddamn hood. That's not his environment. Like it may be in Memphis somewhere, but it ain't in his neighborhood. And if he's living in the hood in Memphis, which I've lived in Tennessee, like, bro, come on now.
Yeah, I just hope that he.
You're watching something, and they need to find out why. Why does he feel like this is the persona he needs to have? Because I'm telling you, the gangsters ain't looking up to you. Okay,
that's what I think it is, though.
The gangsters in Memphis love John Morant. They love him. They write songs about him.
I'm not saying you don't love him. I'm saying that you have kids looking up to you.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Worried about a rapper? I'm not worried about a rapper.
It's the priorities, bro. The priorities is fucked up.
Because the kids are going to go buy my shoes. The kids are going to go buy my shoes.
You don't get no clout from that. That's the problem. He's still clout searching. It's not much clout behind it. A lot of people in the NBA sell shoes. A lot of people in the NBA do charitable shit. Not a lot of them are connected with the streets, though. That's the problem. He wants to be connected with the streets. And he wants the clout that comes with it.
But wait, let me stop you there, because we do have some. If you look at the way things are now in the NBA, the NBA is 90% black.
True,
right? I think 85%, 80 to 85% of those black kids come from an inner city that saw something.
Yeah,
that lived in something. I don't know, John. I don't know John.
Everybody else guns.
That's why I say he's clout chasing.
I don't know.
That's why I say he's clout chasing. He's trying to get the clout that he's trying to get the clout that he never had.
It's an individual problem, not a whole problem. Because you see most of these guys, they get out of this area, they understand that I'm leaving that type of shit there, because that's not where I'm at anymore. That's not who I am. I don't need to be a part of that shit.
That was never the case for Ja, though. Ja grew up in a two-parent household. You know what I mean? Dad was well off and shit like that. That's why I say it's more so clout chasing than anything. He's chasing the clout that comes with it.
But that's a problem.
Yeah, for sure. That's the problem. He's clout chasing. His problem that he's looking for clout and respect, and he's looking for adulation in places that he shouldn't.
Yeah, like why do you care what the gangsters and rappers think? Like
that's what this generation is influenced off of.
Yep.
They are this is what this generation generation of what we live in right now. And the thing about it is, and I'm gonna say this little segment and we're gonna go into the next topic. It's a show on Hulu named Hip Hop Uncovered. It's a documentary of a bunch of hip hop producers that came up from the streets and got themselves into the game and left that game behind. Some of them mixed and matched with it, or they brought it to the game and stuff like that. But the way social media is now, they are like, these guys is clout chasing like crazy.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to be Twitter fingers. Everybody wants to be Instagram fingers. Everybody wants to argue over social media. And then when you see that person in person, you ain't coming back home.
Yeah.
90% of the time. Because it all starts from social media.
It's too much of a clout chase.
Here was not brought up in social media.
No.
We wasn't.
No, we weren't. We were the age before internet really took off.
Exactly.
You had to dial up internet at home. You barely was getting on the internet to look up anything other than research and some shit.
I barely had that. So it comes off of social media. You're an NBA player. You got all this money and you could do whatever you want because I'm John Morant.
Yeah.
That's what black young-minded people live by now. They live by the music. They live out what they saying in the music, and they act like they're a product of their environment, where they not even a product of their environment, where they never even been in that product of the environment. John Morant.
Yeah.
Even though I lived in a 2-parent home, but I used to live in between 2 abandoned buildings with only 3 houses on the block.
Yeah.
It was nothing but crack fiends and nothing but cokeheads.
Yeah.
So I don't know where John Morant is from, but from my background, at the time I was a product of my environment, and I made that change.
Yeah.
I think John can make that change, but it depends on who you bring around him at this moment.
Yeah. He has to change his circle. He has to change his day-to-day shit. That's just it.
Basically. So let's get finally to it, because I know he's been highly anticipating this. Oh. And of course, the Los Angeles Lakers, defeated the Golden State Warriors.
Not the champ. Not the champ. We took the champs out.
Before we get into what the Lakers have done to advance there, do y'all feel like the Warriors dynasty is over? Because I know people watched it on First Take today, and I heard a lot of things that kind of sparked my interest to ask this question on here. Because to me, it really depends on if Clay comes back and Draymond doesn't pick up his 5th-year option, or whatever option that he has.
I think that the issue that they're having is that we need to see Clay come back another season. You know what I mean? With his health and wealth, health permitting, that he's healthy and just able to just get back into another level of being Clay, because he tore his Achilles, he freaked his knee all up. Like I think that he has still more room to try to get back into that mode. Draymond is kind of set into his ways, but Draymond is still a great player. Like, even though Draymond doesn't really look at the rim to shoot sometimes, he still does everything else on the basketball court and leads the team in a way, a spiritual leader that you want. I think that their problem is that they spent money this past offseason that they probably should have waited to spend. They should not have gave Jordan Poole that contract. They should have gave Wiggins a lesser contract. And now they're kind of they have 2 young guys in Moody and Kuminga that they're kind of like, you know what I mean, banking on to be like the next up. But it's like you have these other 2 guys in front of them that aren't really that, like Wiggins. Wiggins is okay, but Wiggins is more like a 5th starter or a 6th man. But freaking Poole is just showing that he doesn't want to play defense. He doesn't want to play hard. He wants to take stupid shots like he's Steph Curry. That was a bad decision. That was a bad contract. They don't have size behind Looney, and Looney isn't that big to begin with. And they don't have really many any other players that they can trust off the bounce to like really do anything. I don't think that their dynasty is dead. I think that they have some tweaks to make. You feel me? Because Steph Curry is still the greatest shooter alive, and he's still looking like he's in prime Steph Curry form. If we can get Clay to come back 80% of what he was, because I think he's only been about like 60 to 50% of what he was. He can still run around screens and shoot, but he's not the defender that he was. He's not really. It's just he lost a step. He's clearly lost a step.
He's not confident.
And he's clearly lost a step as far as his movement on the court.
Season. Like you can see it through the whole most of the pre and postseason. Like just there were certain things he didn't seem confident anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, like a good, solid, complete off season, and another. Like next year, I'll say this: if the big 3 is back, I see them going again.
I see them competing.
Yeah,
for sure. On any given, I think that like I say, playoffs is matchup driven. They just ran into a bad matchup. That's just the sense. Like you ran into a team that's going to try to kill you on the backboard, that's trying to kill you below the free throw line, and these are 2 areas that you're easily susceptible to dying to. So you're going to get killed in those 2 areas, and you just want to shoot jump shots on this team. That's not going to really work. That recipe just didn't work against this matchup. Against a different team, another matchup. See if they play Memphis. They dog walk Memphis. They play Memphis instead of the Lakers. They dog walk Memphis. They walk through Memphis. They just shoot their heads off. I personally think that, but hey, I think that they have a few moves that they can make. They probably need to trade. They probably need to trade Poole. Trade pool, get other players, get assets. You had to trade him.
I'm telling you right now that's what fucked the whole chemistry up for real.
That fucked it up.
Like even
not just him punching him. Him getting paid fucked the chemistry up. Because I think Draymond knew in a sense. I think that Draymond knew in a sense that you paid this motherfucker and he's not really that good. He's not that good.
That's why Draymond hit his ass.
That's why he punched him. You think you're better than what you really are, and you're really not that good.
He got paid, got sucker punched, then looked like shit. That's exactly what
happened.
Look
like shit. They did Ice Spice all year.
Maybe that shit should have happened to Job. Maybe one of his teammates should have popped the shit out of him. You doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Listen,
maybe.
It got Jordan Poole straight. It humbled him. Really brought him right
back down real quick.
Well, I mean, yes, it humbled him, but look how he played.
I mean, he was going to play that regardless because he last year, he built his back off of just hitting like random shots.
Right.
It wasn't really on the back of nothing else. He's not a shot creator for anybody else, and he doesn't play defense. So it's like, what's the point? He's not a Warriors player. That's not the prototypical player for them. And last year he was in a much lesser role. So it was like anything that he gave you was just an added luxury. Now you're dependent on him to be a 20, 25-point scorer every night.
Not be a solid at that.
Yeah, not off the bench. Off the bench at that, right? He can't be a solid contributor. You know what I mean? He just needs to be on a different team.
Right.
I think that he's either tired of Steve Kerr, he's tired of the championship or bust, you know what I mean, culture, and he wants to just live freely. He can't play freely.
But I think to me, if you look at Jordan Poole's game, why he is trying to imitate Steph Curry, if you look at the game, he's trying to imitate Steph Curry, and that's just something that you just can't do. Steph Curry is a one of a kind shooter, a one of a kind player. You're not going to find a player again like Stephen Curry. Like you're not going to find another LeBron James. You're not going to find another Michael Jordan. You're not going to find another Kobe Bryant. Jordan Poole beat Jordan Poole at this point.
Just be Jordan Poole. Just be the spark plug. The spark plug. He has to recommit himself on defense because he's still, what is he, 6'4"? He should be a solid defender. He should be a passable defender. All he wants to do is foul. He doesn't want to do anything but foul.
And complain.
When he feel like foul and complain. When he feel like he's beat or he feel like he's been fouled, he doesn't get back on defense. That kills Steve. I can imagine that Steve Kerr after every play that he does some silly shit like that, he's just over there fuming. He's fuming. But that's another player that's been paid so much money. He's taking up so much cap space. You can't really reconfigure or add people that you need to add behind him or ahead of him. Right. You want to play people like DiVincenzo more minutes than him, but you can't justify being how much he's being paid. You can't justify sitting that much money on the bench. Coaches lose their jobs off of shit like that. GMs get mad because they feel like it's a wasted investment. Owners get mad at shit like that. It makes them look bad. But shit, you know what I mean?
That's like a Duncan Robinson situation as well in Miami.
Hey, the thing with Duncan, I think the thing with Duncan, at least Duncan tries. Duncan doesn't seem like he's out there just going through the motions.
Yeah, I can't say that. The right word. Try.
He at least tries. He's not going through the motions. The problem with Duncan is that Max Strus is Duncan times 10. Like he plays defense and he shoots and he you know what I mean? He's positionally aware on certain shit on the court. He can make a play off the bounce. Duncan is just strictly a shooter now. So it's
that just reminds me of Duncan Robinson. It just reminds me of a new JJ Redick. Liability on defense and come off the pick and shoot the three. That's what JJ Redick
tried. JJ was another player that at least tried. He knew where to be on defense. He just physically couldn't get shit done.
Right.
That's all it was with JJ.
He knew his position.
He knew the position. He was positionally aware to do it. Right. That's the problem.
Come on, bro.
Jordan Poole has no excuse. Jordan Poole has an effort problem. That's his problem. Jordan Poole doesn't put forth effort.
Oh, we took advantage of that. Well, that's the case. Put James Harden and Jordan Poole on the same team. Just do that.
You would never win a game. You probably wouldn't win for a month. You wouldn't win for a month.
Would be the team to do it.
I mean, they got Udoka now as the head coach.
The Rockets, and I'm telling you, the Rockets have young assets. They may be looking to flip a few players, flip a few of them for somebody like that. But it don't move the needle for them. They need defenders. If we're talking about Houston, but shit, like I say, the Lakers took advantage of the silly shit. We took advantage of their guards not wanting to play defense. We attacked Steph Curry. We were just matchup hunting. That's the thing that, like I said, we play defense and we don't take dumb shots. We're trying to get the best shot every single time down the court. If it's a layup every time, that's what they're trying to do. So it's like we just
and that,
we thrive on that.
It goes all the way back to my 76ers point. Darvin Ham is a better coach than Doc Rivers as of today.
As of today,
I'm trolling.
As of the day, he may be. He's more willing to make adjustments. He's not as hard stance on like this is my style, this is where I want to play, and this is it. I think that Darvin Ham goes into each quarter looking to make an adjustment. If he feel like he want to bench this guy and it'll give us the best chance to win, you're gonna sit your ass down. Darvin Ham has been empowered to do that. You have people that non-basketball people in Rob Pelinka and the Jeannie Buss family that they're basketball people, but they're not X's and O's basketball type people. So they give him all the power.
LeBron James, you have the one of the greatest, if not
he's the greatest player
top
coach.
Two on the court coach.
Yeah, I mean you're not going to make dumb decisions, bro.
Which I understand that, but
and I've said it just in case nobody heard me last time. Okay, Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever, but
yes, LeBron is the best overall. He's the best overall player. It's hard to debate that.
One of the best players to ever play the game, put them all together. That's LeBron James.
That's LeBron.
He's not the greatest player, but he's the greatest all around. And
because he can play all 5 positions. That's why.
Basically, he can play all 5 positions. They play him a small ball 5, and they get away with it. They get away with that shit.
Yeah, but the whole thing is
that's LeBron coaching.
Is going to respect you as a coach because LeBron is not going to let that happen. LeBron ain't going to let no player disrespect a coach. It's not going to happen. He don't even do it. Even when he sees the wrong shit, he'll go and pull the coach to the side. He'll talk to the coach. You don't see that shit in the media. When the respect is there, I'll say this: when the respect is there, because the shit he did to David Blatt was shameful. The shit he did to David Blatt was kind of shameful. He ran David Blatt the hell out of town. And David Blatt had just took him to the finals. He ran David Blatt the hell out of town. He felt like David Blatt wasn't on his level mentally, and he just didn't respect him. And that shit trickled down to the rest of the players. Like, as long as LeBron respects the coach, like a Ty Lue, like a Mike Brown, like a Darvin Ham, or even in the beginning stages of Frank Vogel, because he coached defense and they had battles together, as long as he respects the coach, then you're going to get the best version of him, and it's going to trickle down to the players. Like, he's the ultimate, like, you know what I mean, second coach on the team, basically. He's the ultimate second coach on the court. So, you know what I mean? They benefit from that. And like I said, you feel me? It's more of a analysis of the game. It was just, defense first. Look at their shooting percentage. They don't shoot that bad if you're not playing defense. They don't shoot that bad if you don't know schematically where to be. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and we took advantage of the easy shit. On to the next. I think this Denver series is not going to be as close as this one. Me personally, they don't have the same threats on the outside as them, so we don't have to overextend our defense. I think it's going to be even. I think this may be 4-0-5-1, 4-1. Sorry, gentleman's sweep. I see gentleman's sweep here.
I'm not making my predictions now. Ed just came on record on Monday to make the predictions now. He said that the Lakers will win in 4 or 5.
4-1 over the Nuggets.
4-1. He said
4-1 for the poor one. I have a dog walking this team.
If the Lakers win, it'll be 4-3, Game 7.
No way. LeBron ain't letting it get that far. We're not getting out of damn LA without winning. We're winning all our home games. I see us against this team, against a just as bad road team as the Warriors. They weren't that good on the road either. So it's
in the playoffs,
the last couple of games on the road, they have been.
In the playoffs,
look at the matchups.
In the playoffs, in the first round they was. In the first round they was. In the second round they wasn't.
Right. They lost the two. How many games did they lose to the Nuggets, to the Warriors? To the Wolves. They lost 2 too. They beat them in 6, right?
Yeah,
or was it 5?
The difference was with the Suns that the Nuggets have not beat the Suns in their building all year. That's during the regular season and in the playoffs until Game 6, and they went in and got the job done in Phoenix.
Right.
Basically.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, those two teams are not as complete as the Lakers team. Both of those teams have holes in just fundamental issues. You feel me? Between Minnesota trying to run 2 bigs and it's just not working. You got one of them soft as shit and the other one can't really do anything besides block a shot. And then you got the Suns who have no bigs and then your top guard gets hurt. So now you're just running two wings that want to shoot mid-range jumpers all game. Like,
well, Ed
it's
just
not a
came up
recipe for
on here and
success.
stated that the Lakers will win in 4 or 5. That's
4
what
or
he is.
5.
4 or 5. So y'all hear that here? Don't come to Darion because I ain't say it. I'm just repeating.
I got the Lakers and I got I will be humble
because I didn't make my predictions yet.
That was a bold prediction. I will make the humblest prediction I can make. I have us winning 4-1. The humblest decision I can make.
You heard it here first.
I don't see it. I just don't see this team being able to kill us. We just beat the best team at home on their own shit. We can beat Denver at home and win the rest of our home games. That's it.
I will make my prediction tomorrow. That's a disclaimer. I'll make my prediction tomorrow.
Go Lake Show, man.
I'm telling you right now, the series is going to go 7 games.
No, man.
I think it's going to be a good series, but I'm still not picking who wins the series yet.
I think if LA can get the Nuggets to play their game, then LA wins. But if the Nuggets can move some things around and get better matchups, I think the Nuggets offensively have more schemes that they can draw up than the Lakers. Because the whole thing is, if you put Aaron Gordon on Anthony Davis and he has the same effect that he did with Kevin Durant, then that effect.
No, that don't work. You know that don't work. That's the problem. Let's be real.
We're not going
to act like Aaron Gordon has not been effective since he's been with the Denver Nuggets. We're not
going to say that.
He has been great defensively.
He's been effective defensively in certain matchups. I think the AD matchup is a bad matchup for him. He's too small for AD. He's clearly just too small. But he's too small. He's not stronger than Draymond Green. You think he's stronger than Draymond?
2 inches shorter than him? He's 2 inches shorter.
What about the wingspan? What about the wingspan?
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis going to have a hard time pushing him.
I doubt it. I can tell you this right now.
One thing I can say about Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis doesn't bully anybody. Anthony Davis doesn't bully nobody. He doesn't.
If Aaron Gordon is guarding Anthony Davis, who's guarding LeBron?
You put Porter on LeBron.
Stop it. Not Michael Porter. Stop.
Listen. I'm going to be honest with you. Look, what game has LeBron taken over? What game has LeBron taken over?
It was only game 6 for me.
He just took over. He's been playing. He's been playing. The thing with LeBron.
Okay, hold on. I'll say this.
LeBron has been playing the right way all playoffs. He's not been looking to try to do too much, because when you try to do too much, you're taking other players.
Have to do too much.
He doesn't have to.
He's gonna have to,
bro. He doesn't have to against this team.
He's gonna have to. If LeBron James doesn't come out vintage LeBron and put up 25, they lose.
The only thing I say this right, if
what happened, they got pushed all the way to game 7.
Mac, I can
the defense was so locked down. The Lakers should have fucking got them done in 5 games.
They had an elite. We won 4 games.
No, you're not going to tell me that bull crap. I've been watching
4 games. They won 2.
The Nuggets have played cleaner games and cleaner defense than LA had.
The Nuggets matchup. That is matchup driven, sir.
They had a hard time with.
You're not going to sit here and underestimate the number 1 team in the Western Conference either. We have to give them their proper respect as well.
I'll give them their proper respect.
You have to give them the proper respect.
I'll give them their proper respect.
You're making me want to make my predictions. You're making me want to make my predictions. And that is the reason why Lakers fans. I don't really hope the Lakers fans rewatch this, because
I'm just talking about regular basketball stuff.
Regular basketball, but at the same time, you're making it seem like the Denver Nuggets is a walkover when you say they win in 4 or 5 They're
trying to point
and they
out.
damn well better than the Warriors right now. So
as far as their matchups, as far as matchups are concerned, they have bad matchup problems. They have one wing, they have one power forward, they have one defender on their team. that's really like size that can defend either AD or LeBron. You have to put Aaron Gordon on LeBron James. If you don't put him on LeBron James
offensively against Jokic, because Jokic can score on anybody anywhere on the floor.
What we would do the same thing we did all season. We send a double team late and we stay home on shooters.
Anthony Davis defensively is not going to be able to sit down there in the block. Thinking that Jokic is going to be down there 90% of the time. When Jokic is going to shoot that three, Anthony Davis is going to have to come out.
Hold on a second. So they got Thomas Bryant. They got DeAndre Jordan.
They don't play Thomas Bryant. They don't play DeAndre Jordan.
Jeff Green shot down multiple.
They don't play these people. Jeff Green. They don't play the two bigs. Jeff Green
do play.
I like Jeff Green, but Jeff Green doesn't start. Jeff Green doesn't play enough minutes.
In the last series when Aaron Gordon came on the bench.
Bro, yes, he guarded. That's why I said. This is why I said. Bro, this is why I said he will end up guarding one of those two will end up guarding LeBron.
And
you cannot.
Caldwell Pope
can't guard LeBron though, sir. He cannot guard him. Oh my God!
But this is the thing, Ed. Hold up, Matt. This is the thing. You just talking offensively. What is the defensive scheme for the Lakers when Jokic is out there on the three and AD has to come out there? What is your scheme?
It's just a contest. It's just a contest. What we did all season was
opens it up for Porter. That opens it up for Aaron Gordon. That opens it up for Jamal Murray. When Jokic is at the three, because you finally got a center that can stretch the floor.
Listen, what we did all season was we played off and we allowed him to shoot the three. If he's going to hit 7 to 8 threes a game, then he's going to have to beat us that way.
You will lose. If
I don't see it.
You will lose.
He's not a knockdown 3-point shooter. He's not. He's a solid shooter. He's a solid shooter.
Hold on.
What was the shooting percentage for the season? What was the shooting percentage for the season from three, sir? Jokic.
I don't even like Jokic, but he's a better shooter than any big man that was in this series.
That's not a debate. I'm not debating that. I'm just telling you what we do against them. What we do against them is we trust our guards to get over the dribble handoff shit, and we play our big back. If Jokic wants to shoot threes the whole game and live on the perimeter, we will gladly accept that. We will just contest. We will contest controllably and play defense.
25% on losses. He's 37% in wins.
This is overall.
Just this postseason.
That's not elite. 37% is not elite. In wins, 25% in the losses.
For a center?
That's cool. That's cool. But if that's what he wants to do, that's his game. If he wants to live out on the 3-point,
to realize this, right?
They're not gonna beat us with Jokic shooting threes, bro.
People fail to realize this, right?
You think he ain't 4 of them?
I'm just saying what we did.
I feel like Jokic is going to get his money. Jokic is going to get his numbers. He's going to get his numbers. But this is the thing. The difference between
and LeBron on the floor.
This is the difference between the centers that y'all played in this postseason to Jokic. You have a big man that could dribble. You got a big man that could play on the perimeter. You have a big man that could rebound. You have a big man that's not scared of Anthony Davis like DeAndre Ayton was. I mean, like most of these centers was. Jokic is not going to back down. And I feel like when AD has to come out of the paint to defend a Jokic, that's where the liability of the Lakers will be. That's where the liability will be.
And I think that what we did all season when we played them and what we've done in the past when we played them is that we play off of that shit. We will let Jokic shoot threes. All our guards have to do is be competitive getting around on the dribble handoff, which we like. All I'm saying is that we have guards.
I don't think Struder can keep up with Jamal Murray. I don't think D'Angelo Russell can play defense against Jamal Murray. I don't think y'all guards are that competitive against a Jamal Murray when it comes to his handle and him driving to the basket.
We were just competitive against the greatest shooter and one of the greatest drivers of the basketball all season.
Hold on.
But you're trying to tell me that different type of player than what Jamal Murray is. Jamal Murray's a totally different guard.
He's still able to break down his defender way easier than Jamal Murray, and because of the threat of the shot, it's easier for Steph Curry to get to the lane.
One thing about Jamal Murray,
Warriors don't play defense.
Oh my God!
Like, come on now. You're telling me the Nuggets defense is worse than the Warriors defense.
I'm telling you, because we were talking about the Lakers defense. We were talking about what the Lakers would do defensively.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, Ed, is that Jamal Murray is more. We know that Curry had to drop to the basket because they was preventing him from shooting the three.
Right. Yeah.
Jamal Murray is a drive to the basket. Jamal Murray is more of a drive to the basket score than what Steph Curry is. That is the difference. We don't really see Jamal.
Brown is.
That's what I'm saying. You have more. The Warriors. Crazy. The Warriors are more of a. Crazy. The Warriors are more of an outside shooting team than going to the basket. They just are.
And that plays into our hand. That plays into our hand.
Right.
As far as I'm talking about defensively against the Nuggets team that doesn't have the same caliber of shooters as you. So we don't have to overextend our defense.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is what's going to be the problem is when your guards get blown by and drop to the basket when AD is not under the basket.
I don't see that happening because we were able to contain better. We were able to contain a better dribbler. We were able with the higher threat of a person off the bounce was Steph Curry because he can shoot. It's not Jamal Murray.
In the first half, it just happened. It just happened in Game 6, Ed. It just happened in Game 6 in the first half when Gary Payton was getting rebounds because Draymond Green was the stretch 5 shooting it. So it took 80 out the paint. So when Warriors get shots, you see Gary Payton get rebounds and go right back up for an easy layup.
Bro, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is zero. What I'm saying is over a period of time, what we have shown in every game, all the wins that we had, and all of the wins, we made the adjustment and we killed all of that noise that you're talking about. Our guards, as I've said multiple times, they get over screens, bro. That's what we do. We have multiple defenders that can get over screens that can attach Jamal Murray shit. 9 out of 10 is going to be Vanderbilt on him. The same way that Vanderbilt was on Steph Curry. Are you saying that he's more of a threat and he's more susceptible to getting beat by Murray than he is to getting beat by Steph Curry? That doesn't make sense. Yes. No, that's false. That's false, sir.
Murray is definitely faster than Curry is now. For sure.
I'm over it. That's false. That's 2 false statements. That's false.
I feel like Jamal Murray has a better handle to put people on skates than Steph Curry does.
Man, come on, bro.
I don't know about handle.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. About one-step speed.
The one step speed, or even when he takes the first step and he drops it, he steps back. His step back is quicker than Curry on a mid-range shot.
The difference between the two is basketball shit. The difference between the two is that you have to pick up Steph Curry from half court. You don't have to pick up Jamal Curry from half court. You have to pick up Steph Curry before he even crosses half court.
Yeah, because 99% of the time, Steph Curry's going to shoot a 3.
That's why I say we don't have to overextend our defense as we did against the Warriors. So we don't have to extend that far out because he's not a threat to shoot from 30.
That means you don't have to worry about Michael Porter Jr. shooting his shots from the 3.
Michael Porter is a set shooter. He's not a create off the bounce shooter. He's not. That's not his game yet. He's not a create his own shot shooter.
Everybody on the Lakers is. That's exactly what
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You did.
I said that's what it
said. No. No, I'm just talking about their team. I'm talking about their team. I'm talking about their team individually. They have multiple people that want to spot up the shoot between Michael Porter Jr. and motherfucking and KCP. They want to spot up the shoot. Jamal Murray wants to play downhill. He's not a deep range shooter. That's not his game.
I think the matchup is even.
This is my only point, and this is what I was trying to make. For you guys to win, okay, 4 out of 5 games, Anthony Davis and LeBron and all your role players have to play great every single one of those games. How many back-to-back games has the Lakers had where they've played phenomenal? Like, I'm talking as a team. We're talking about team ball here. How many games in a row have they done?
If the Lakers want to win in that convincing fashion, it has to be dominant.
Bro, we won game 3 and 4 back-to-back.
For the Lakers.
We won game 3 and 4 back-to-back.
No more than 2.
But I'm just saying, that's all you have to do. All we need to do is hold home court and steal one on the road, sir. It's the same recipe. It's the same recipe. This team is susceptible to losing on the road. They weren't the best home team, so they're susceptible to losing at home.
Okay.
They was the second best home team in the playoffs.
And I'm telling you, home court advantage if Anthony Davis doesn't produce and LeBron James doesn't produce, if we're talking about a 13-point game with 8 rebounds from Anthony Davis, and we're talking about 15 points and 3 assists with 3 rebounds from LeBron, you lose. Here's
the raw numbers of the situation, bro. We're 8-4 in these playoffs. We have played 8 good games. We've played 4 subpar games. I would say even 3 subpar games because one of the 4 we could have won. So we've only played 3 subpar games out of fucking 12.
How many
we have shown the ability to play great basketball.
How many games have you come back from 20-point deficit?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We won. We won those games. We won.
So
all it matters is that you win. It doesn't. There is no category for close wins. There's no category for blowout wins. As long as you win the game.
I just don't like where you say Nuggets Lakers in 5 or Lakers in 4, and to be honest, that's not realistic. It's really
I think the matchup. Because the matchup says. I think the matchups that we have on the court, as you're looking at individual matchups and team matchups, I think that the matchup dictates that this should probably be a 5 to 6 game series. If I'm being generous, Lakers in 6. I'm being super generous with that. I see them winning in 5.
Y'all said the same thing for the Warriors last series. Oh, Warriors! Yeah. Lakers in 4 and Lakers in 5. Y'all said the same.
What 2 games did they win?
And it went to game 6.
The 2 games that they won, our offense didn't show up. We got blown off the floor. Every other game that was even close, we won. And the other 2, we blew them out.
But that's what I'm saying with the Nuggets. The Nuggets take high percentage shots. The Nuggets get points on the board quick. If you guys go down by the second quarter, 20-plus points, I don't see.
We're not the same. We're not the same team. We are a better
respect for Denver.
We are a better defensive team than the Wolves and the Suns. It's not even close.
I just like the lack of disrespect for the Denver Nuggets because you're a Lakers fan is just asinine. It's really.
I don't have a lack of respect. I just have a knowledge of the game and the X's and O's.
Yeah, but you're not even giving them a chance. You think there's not going to be a great series?
What chance do you want me to give them? What chance do you want me to give them?
Oh man,
that's how I see it because I think the matchup. I think this is the same way. This is a bad matchup.
If we're sitting at game 6 and the Lakers aren't up, I'm gonna give you so much shit,
bro. You do what you feel you need to do. I'm just talking about regular basketball shit on the basketball court. The matchups dictate that this is a bad matchup for the Nuggets because defensively it is a bad match. It is.
I feel like in your head somewhere you're building these Lakers guys up.
In my head, I play basketball.
Let's be honest. These Lakers
none of these guys are going to take that ball from you 5 times a game. None of them guys are
mediocre, man. Now, I'm taking the Nuggets in this series. I'm taking them in 7. I'm taking them in 7.
Good.
That don't even sound convincing. You taking them?
I know. It's convincing. I feel like when you talk about the Lakers, you talk about them like they are this. They're the top guards in the league defensively, and they don't.
Defensively, sir. In these playoffs,
Russell don't play defense. He's garbage on the defensive side of the ball.
In these playoffs, sir. Defensively, and since the trade deadline, defensively, we have been the number 1 team.
I'm talking about your guard play on the defensive.
Our guard play is a
your
part of that.
Stink. Your guards stink for the Lakers. Sorry, Dennis Schroeder stinks. D'Angelo Russell stinks on the defensive side of the ball. They do.
Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo has been mediocre on defense. The rest of our guards have been great on defense. They have been. It's just a fact, sir. I'm not arguing. I can't debate anything else.
I just feel like it's disrespect. It's disrespect to the
Nuggets. Not disrespect. It's just basketball shit.
My phone screen, but the Nuggets and the Lakers are tied on defense.
Bro, you're talking about these players. Yeah, and we're as far as our guards go, we have the better defensive guards, sir. I'm sorry. We've just shown that. We just played Steph Curry. We just played the Warriors. We just played the champs.
Okay.
Played the champs.
Offensively, the Denver Nuggets have the better
played a Steph Curry that had his team on his back the whole series.
That's what he do, though.
He had his team He had to put his team on his back the whole series.
And Devin Booker didn't.
But Devin Booker don't have a Jokic, don't have a Jamal Murray. The Denver Nuggets have a better supporting cast than what the Suns have right now.
That's a fact. That's why they beat them. That's a fact. That's why they beat them. And we have a better supporting cast than the Suns.
And right now, and then when y'all play stuff, they supporting cast didn't do shit.
Their supporting cast didn't show up, and ours didn't.
Denver, and I don't even like Denver.
And ours did.
Denver have a consistent supporting cast.
There's some respect for our supporting cast, bro. Our supporting cast showed up. It's not our fault that theirs didn't. That's not. We can't do anything about that. It's not our fault.
Denver right now is the most consistent team when it comes to their guard play. They're the most consistent team.
I don't see that because KCP disappears.
KCP
Bruce Brown only plays good at home.
Season, man.
Bruce Brown only
and in the playoffs.
Their guards for the majority of their guards outside of Murray only play good at home. None of their guards have had good games on the road except for Bruce Brown in that 20-point game that he just had.
Well, KCP,
none of their guards have.
Whoa. KCP just had 25 in game 6, if I'm not mistaken.
It was on the road. That was his first good game on the road.
It doesn't matter. It's a
Murray had
closeout
multiple good games on the road.
But Murray's the exception because he's the leader of the team. Our guards have had good games on the road and at home.
Okay.
Austin Reeves had 20 on the road the first game.
And I'm going to tell you where you're wrong at, because I'm going to tell you why. Where was Dennis Schroeder and where was D'Angelo Russell in that fourth quarter of game 5?
Which game? Game 5. We were getting blown out in game 4.
One of those. Y'all had to put in Lonnie Walker because Dennis Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell was not getting it done.
That was game 4.
They were not getting it done. They wasn't getting it done.
That was game 4.
They wasn't getting it done.
Okay, but is Lonnie Walker not supposed to play good? That doesn't make sense. That's a lame thing to bring up. Is Lonnie Walker not supposed to play good? Is he supposed to play bad when he gets in the game?
He's supposed to play better.
But that's on any given night. It can be different.
On the players in the rotation,
bro,
play better.
Bro, it's not a given that your starters will always play good.
How many games?
Not a given. That's not a given that your starters will always play good because the starters.
How many times Lonnie Walker played before that game 4? How many times? How many times?
Does Bruce Brown start for the Nuggets?
No, no, he does not. Question though. The question is, how many times did Lonnie Walker play in his playoffs before that game 4?
He played a few games, but he'd been out of the rotation before the playoffs started. He was already.
My point is already.
But what I'm saying is, listen. Let me break it down to you. Let me break it down to you as simply as I can. I'm gonna break it down to you as simply as I can. Lonnie Walker has been out of the rotation a month before the playoffs started. Bruce Brown and KCP, they have been in the rotation the whole season. Lonnie Walker has been out of the rotation for a month.
What I'm not saying to you is this. That means your guard play from your 6th man and your starter is not getting the job done. If you have to go all the way down at the end of your game, it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because that's one game. What did Lonnie Walker do in game 5? What did he do in game 6? Okay, then.
He had a good game in game 6.
He had minutes.
No, he did not.
He had minutes.
He took shots.
You play him. You're going to play him because he showed you something.
You're going to play him when you know your two guards is playing inconsistently all series.
Bro, why did Lonnie Walker see minutes in game 6? Because Dennis Schroeder got ejected. That's the only reason why he saw that many minutes. Dennis Schroeder got ejected early, and Dennis Schroeder was killing.
He was the savior of y'all winning game 4. He was the savior of y'all winning game 4 because you didn't get your guard.
I'm giving you. Listen. I'm giving you game 4. What was his numbers in game 5? The only reason why he played in game 6 is because Dennis got ejected.
Hear me out.
What was his numbers in game 3?
The game before he got ejected. What are you talking about?
No, he got ejected in game 6.
Let me ask this question, right? So if the Nuggets take good shots and the Lakers don't, you think the Lakers can still win?
The Lakers have been taking good shots all series, all season, all playoffs.
No.
I'm on my business. I'm on my business.
They lost.
I'm on my business. You're not going to convince. You're not going to listen. As I'm saying it now, Ed is underestimating the Denver Nuggets.
I guess the same way I underestimated the Warriors. The same way I underestimated the Warriors and we dog walked them. We beat them 4-2.
You didn't dog walk them. You know what I consider a dog walk? What I consider a dog walk when you win a game, when you win a series between 4 and 5.
We blew them out 2 games.
You didn't dog walk them. You have to go to a game 6. You didn't dog walk them.
We blew them out 2 games and we beat them on their home court.
That's not dog walking them. You didn't sweep them. You didn't win by 5. That's not dog walking.
The only 2 games they won were blowout games, sir. All the other games that were even close, we won.
It doesn't matter when you don't.
It does matter.
When you dog walk a team, you have to beat them 4-1 or 4-0. That's a.
They didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance. We made it look very obvious. The first game, we beat them. The first game we played.
You're making it seem like y'all swept the Warriors and y'all beat them convincingly.
I'm making it seem like we beat them.
Game 6.
I'm telling you,
go to a game 6.
I'm telling you, we blew them out 2 games.
The problem was if all 4 of your games were completely convincing, like y'all fucking blew them the fuck out, then absolutely I'd be all for it. I'd be right there with you. You know what I mean? But you didn't. 2 of the games were absolute. Yes, y'all looked great in those games.
Exactly.
But 4 of those games was like, and only 2 of the 4 you won. And did you win by more than 10 points? God. And that's again. I understand a win is a win is a win, and I'm with you on that one. Right. But we're talking about from scoring here. You're talking about a Nuggets team that's going to put up at least 110 every night.
I just don't feel like. I just feel like. You can't say you dog walk the defending champions if you have to go to 6 games to beat them,
bro.
That's not a dog walk. That's not a dog walk, really bro. It doesn't matter. You didn't sweep them. You didn't sweep them, or you didn't give them 1 game. You didn't dog walk them.
We won. We were winning. We were winning game 1 by 15.
Yes, but dog walk.
They came back at the end. They came back at the end. They made it a close game in game 1.
So my question to you is this: since the Sixers had to play in a game 7, did we get dog walked?
It was game 7. You just answered your own question. It was game 7.
No, I'm talking about the whole series. The whole series in itself.
Y'all got dog walked the last 2 games. The last 2 games were ugly.
About the whole series. I'm not talking about
the last 2 games were ugly.
I'm talking about the whole series.
It went 7. It went 7, so that's obvious. The obvious answer to that is no, because y'all went 7.
Exactly, just like the Lakers, y'all went 6.
We didn't go 7.
You did not get dog walk. Y'all did not dog walk.
We didn't have to play an extra game. We didn't have to play an extra game.
Doesn't matter.
It wasn't close.
Doesn't matter.
It wasn't close.
You did have to play an extra game. You did.
It wasn't close. We didn't play 7 though. I'm talking about in comparison to the Sixers.
But
I'm talking about in comparison to the Sixers. It was on the road. They're the best home team.
What does that mean? What does that
mean? They're the best home team in the league.
My thing is this:
they play better at home than on the road.
I'm saying,
wait. Now you want to make an excuse.
They're the best home team in the league. Of course, they're going to show. They're going to show some fight at home. They just lost the first game. Of course, they're going to show some fight.
Now you want to make an excuse that we was on the road. That's how champions win basketball games when you win the crucial games on the road.
Hold on.
We won the first game on the road. We stole home court, sir.
You're telling me that the Warriors are better than that.
It matters. It matters because we had the closeout game at home and we took care of business, unlike y'all did. Y'all won the first game at home. Y'all won the first game at home. Y'all had a closeout game on y'all home court. That y'all could have closed it out, and y'all didn't. We did. Thank you. That's the whole point of stealing the game on the road. That's the whole point of stealing the road game when you
y'all still played after that. It's still 5 games you played after that.
But it matters. It matters taking the game on the road. It matters. That matters, sir. That's the whole point of them coming up. That's the whole point of the phrase stealing home court. We stole home court when we won the first game.
So
we was able to have a closeout game at home, and we took care of business.
Why? My thing is this though.
The Nuggets won.
The Nuggets took care of business on the road. That's the difference between the Lakers and the Nuggets.
It's the Suns.
But it doesn't. The Suns was 2-0 in that series at home.
They were at home. They were at their shit. They didn't win a game in Denver. That's the difference. We won the first game in Golden State. The first game they threw the ball out there between the matchup.
Y'all won the first game, but the fact that the at the end of the day, my argument is you can't call it a dog walk when it wasn't a dog walk. What is your actual
to each his own, sir.
For me, I'd say anybody can get blown out in a basketball game or in a football game or whatever. But the fact that it went to a 6 games where you could have closed it out on the road, that would have made a better statement. It would have been a better statement.
We should have eliminated.
Are you telling me that the Warriors are a better team than the Nuggets this year?
The Warriors? Are you talking about at home?
No, I'm talking
in general. In general.
You think it's going to be easier?
There's an obvious answer to that question, though, sir. The Warriors, if you want to be technical, if we're being technical, the Warriors wasn't whole until the playoffs started. Wiggins didn't play the whole season.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying,
but that matters though.
The Warriors are better than the Nuggets.
They're a better home team than the Nuggets.
No,
the record says they are.
The best fucking record.
They had the best record at home though. The Warriors had the best.
Exactly, they had the best record. Look, away games. What do you have to do?
Best home record, sir.
What do you have to do in the playoffs? What did you just say, sir? You said you have to win away from home. You have to win in other people's buildings. And guess what? That's what the Nuggets do. The Nuggets will beat your ass at your own
What's
game.
What's the Nuggets road record?
You not respecting them? Matt, I hope the Lakers respect them, because if the Lakers don't, they're going to get their ass kicked by a guy who can't even run up and down a goddamn court.
Sir, the Nuggets were under 500 on the road this year. Thank you. The Nuggets were 19 and 20. They were like 19 and 22 on the road.
What percentage was the Lakers? What percentage was the
matter.
Lakers?
We're not talking about the Lakers.
Oh, exactly. See, it doesn't matter. They were better than the Lakers, though. You talking
about on the road?
Yes, I'm talking. Look at all their stats.
But we're not talking about. We're not talking about them. We're comparing them to the Warriors. We're comparing them to the Warriors, sir.
Put some respect on them guys.
They're not a good road team. How much respect do you want me to put on it?
They've won more away games than the Lakers.
Oh my God.
I just feel like it's disrespect. I feel like these Lakers fans are high. They're high because they beat a Grizzlies team that's not that great. Number one. Number
and the
two,
Wolves are great. The Suns are great. Are the Wolves or Suns great?
Of course you're going to beat the Timberwolves. It's the fucking Timberwolves.
Are they better? Are the Wolves better than the Memphis Grizzlies?
No, but still you had to play them in a
Suns
play-in
better
game.
than the Warriors. Are the Suns better than the Warriors? Case closed. We beat two better teams than they beat. They beat the Wolves and the freaking Suns. Are the Wolves better than the Grizzlies?
They can be. They can be.
The team that played in
are they?
Season? Yes, sir. No. Yes, sir.
Are the Suns better than
the Grizzlies? Yes, the Suns would have whipped the Grizzlies' ass too, for sure.
Are the Grizzlies better than? Are the Wolves better than the Grizzlies, sir? Are they better than them?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's cap. That's cap, and you know it. That's cap, and you know it. That's cap, and you know it.
Grizzlies suck, bro. The Grizzlies are number 2.
Are they better than the?
They had no center.
Are they?
The Grizzlies are the Grizzlies are
down. It's all over. It's all.
Are the Grizzlies better than the Timberwolves?
No, they're not.
Grizzlies
they're not. They're overrated.
One of the other teams.
Grizzlies,
the Suns would have killed them. The team would have beat them. It would have been a close.
You saying that the Wolves are better than the Grizzlies, yo? Are y'all really trying to say that the Wolves are better than the Grizzlies?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because
this year,
you're telling me are the most overhyped team in the NBA. The Grizzlies are the most overhyped team in the NBA. The most overrated team in the Western Conference. They overhyped.
Are they better than the Wolves, though? They're better than the Timberwolves still.
How many injuries did Grizzlies have going into the playoffs?
How many? It don't matter,
bro. They really
injuries are a part of the game.
The guys who were in the game, the guys who played the game are better than the guys who played from the Timberwolves. No, sir.
I'm sorry, bro. Nobody. The only person on the Wolves that anybody will give credit to is motherfucking Anthony Edwards. There's nobody else on the Wolves.
And the same thing for the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies
was John Morant.
Bro,
who else?
The Grizzlies had John Morant. The Grizzlies had John Morant playing good. They had Desmond Bain playing good, and he had Jaren Jackson playing good. Look at their numbers.
Desmond Bain finally made a name for himself in the Lakers series. He made a name for himself in the Lakers series. I didn't know who the hell Desmond Bain was all season.
That was the first round. That's what I'm saying. He played good, didn't he? Didn't he play good?
Yeah, but nobody knew who the hell he was.
That's because real NBA heads knew who he was.
Nobody else.
Nobody talking about fucking Desmond Bain.
Please make a poll. Please make a poll on your page. Make a poll on your page and ask which team is better, the Timberwolves or the Grizzlies.
No, you think of the Memphis Grizzlies. Who do you think about?
You need to say,
I'm just saying,
which one of the two playoff teams this year were better with their.
Which one of the two? Okay, so you're telling me that the playoff Minnesota Timberwolves were better than the playoff Memphis Grizzlies? That's what you're trying to tell me.
If they would have played,
the
Timberwolves would have won.
We're not talking about ifs. We're talking about what is. What is the fact is that they're not a better team than them. Okay. They're not.
The Suns is a better team than the Grizzlies. The Suns is.
Okay, but that's not who they played in the second round. Are the Suns better than the Warriors? No.
I mean,
and you know what happened? Wait, man. Hold up. So the same way the Suns lost is the same way the Warriors lost.
But are they better? Right? I agree with you. I agree there.
They're the same. I mean,
they're the same.
I agree. Injuries and because of talent and the bullshit that happened to both teams, they're almost dead set even.
They did.
You think the Suns are better than the Warriors? Okay. You think they're even? I won't say that you say they're better. You think they're even?
Look at the seeding. The seeding was different.
I said they were even. This year, they're
even.
Playoff teams.
To me, when it comes to play, if you want to look at playoff seeding, the Suns is better than the Warriors playoff seeding wise. Playoff seeding.
If you're looking at the seeding, the Grizzlies are better than the freaking the Timberwolves. So use that logic there. The Grizzlies were the third seed.
I just feel like talent-wise, they're better. Talent-wise, they're better.
I said the two playoff teams, the people that were there.
Talent don't mean nothing if you don't produce with it, sir.
You put the whole Grizzly team.
The Grizzlies been frauds all year. The Grizzlies been frauds all year.
Bro, I said the same thing about the Kings. I said the Kings were frauds all year, and they're basically the same team.
They're not the same team.
They're basically the same team. One team actually plays defense. You're right. They're not the same team.
The Grizzlies has been experienced in the playoffs more than Sacramento has been in the last 30 years.
But using your logic, you would say that the Kings were better than the Grizzlies.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense though. If the Grizzlies have more playoff experience.
Who has more playoff experiences? Again, look at all the guys who were injured for the Grizzlies.
It was only two dudes injured on the Grizzlies. It was only Steven Adams and Brandon. I'm not saying that it didn't matter, but what I'm saying is injuries are a part of the game. Injuries are a part of the game, sir.
That was a huge miss. If they would have had them guys, they would have kind of stood a chance.
Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker.
I still think the Grizzlies, even with Adams and Clark being there, I still think the Grizzlies are frauds. That's just me.
Here's the kicker. The Grizzlies, despite the injuries, are still a better team. Still look better than the motherfucking Kings do because the Kings don't guard anybody. They don't play any defense. They're just trying to outscore you. Fundamentally, man for man, they're not a better team.
The Kings right now, they got that one playoff experience. But we see the Memphis Grizzlies every year get into the playoffs and talk about, it's inexperienced there. No, the Grizzlies been there too many times.
I agree.
And been frauds. Simple as that.
I think that the matchup dictated that they were going to lose anyway. Because who do they have to guard certain people on our team? They're not a great outside shooting team. So matchups dictate shit. If they were playing a different team, then maybe I could see that. If they were playing the Kings, then maybe we could have a better discussion. They were playing the Lakers. It was a bad matchup.
I say if the Memphis Grizzlies play Sacramento, the Grizzlies will lose that series.
I don't see that.
I think that series.
I think that being as though Memphis actually plays defense. I think
Dillon Brooks is not enough. He wasn't enough.
And even who was the only two people that showed up for the Kings was Fox and Hunt. Was Fox and Malik Monk. Nobody else showed up for their team. Who else showed up for the
Sabonis definitely showed
Sabonis
up.
didn't do shit. Sabonis was getting his ass cooked all series. Sabonis was getting destroyed all series. Stop it, sir. Stop that. Looney was eating his lunch. Looney was taking his lunch all series. Stop that. Draymond Green was locking that up. Stop that. Look at Sabonis' numbers in the series. Sabonis didn't do shit. Stop it. Stop that. Sabonis didn't show up. Neither did Kevin Huerter. Neither did the rookie. Neither did Harrison Barnes. Stop that. None of them guys showed up. Only two dudes showed up. That was Fox and Malik Monk. That was it.
What do you expect from Harrison Barnes?
Only two people showed up. That was Fox and Malik Monk. Look at the numbers. Look at the tape. They were the only two that showed up in the series. Stop it.
Yo.
They were healthy and whole, and none of them guys showed up.
But they took the Warriors to 7 games. Bro,
They took the Warriors to 7 games because that was a bad matchup for them. They can't stop nobody off the dribble.
So the Warriors. So my question is: the Warriors dog walked the Sacramento Kings since it went to a 7 games.
It went 7 games. You just answered your own question.
I'm asking you because you consider y'all beating the Warriors as a dog walk.
Only 2 of the games were close.
You consider every game wasn't close for the Sacramento Kings in that Warriors series. Every game wasn't close.
I ain't saying that it was. What I'm saying is that was a different series than our series. It was a shootout. They couldn't stop anybody. Neither one of the things. You got 2 of the worst defensive teams playing against each other. Look at the scores in that series. All of the games were shootouts.
Understanding that, but you saying it like y'all was almost close to a game 7, even though y'all won a game 6 when y'all was predicted to win in 4 or 5. I still don't consider it a dog walk. That just go back to my answer.
Who had the niggas even winning the series? Look at the better. What was the pundit saying?
I'm gonna tell you this from
the Warriors in 7.
The guys from First Take, JJ Redick said it. Kendrick Perkins said it. A few of the female hosts throughout a couple of the shows took the Lakers to win. But believe it or not, a lot of people did take the Lakers to win.
A lot of people did take the Lakers, but me, I took the Warriors in 7 because I thought it was going to be a great series, in which it was a great series to watch. It was. It wasn't nothing that it was, okay, we know they're going to end the series here out of 4 games. When I consider a dog,
the Warriors showed championship DNA.
As a Philly native, when we consider a dog walk, that means we bust your ass all 4 games. That's what we consider a dog walk.
I mean,
at the end of the day, bro.
I get what you're saying. 6 games is not a dog walk.
It
might be an ass whipping, but it's not a dog walk.
Thank you.
Know what I mean?
Whatever. Tomato. At the end of the day, they are a better team. We have played better teams than what the Nuggets have played. It's not even close.
I mean,
the Grizzlies are better than the Kings.
The higher seed is supposed to have
the seeding doesn't mean much to me. I'm talking about the matchup, the teams. Yeah, the seeding is based off the regular season. That's where you get the seeding from. You don't get the seeding because you played the Lakers 30 times in the season.
At the end of the day, this is experience on experience. So we see what happens. It's experience on experience. It's not going to be a dog walk, though. It won't be a walk in a park.
I guess the excuse will be. I wonder what the excuse will be now because they have Murray back. They have Murray this time, so there shouldn't be any excuse when we do what we do. There shouldn't be an excuse, right?
Listen, it's going to be a 7-game series. I don't see it being 4 or 5. Like what?
I got his tickets. I got his tickets
about the best team in the league right now. Y'all not even the best team in the league,
bro. We've been the best team in the league since the trade deadline. We've won the most games. Fact. That's my opinion. I just feel like right now you're not the best team in the league.
I mean,
the numbers say otherwise, but we'll see. We shall see.
See, this is why I don't like talking Lakers. You see why I was waiting till tomorrow for this?
We just beat the champs. We just beat the champs. Please don't bring us somebody beating the Suns who look like shit 2 years in a row again. That matters, sir. That really matters.
It doesn't matter. It's always a new champion in the NBA. It's always a new champion in the NBA.
It's not a new champion to the one that won before gets dethroned.
Yeah, in the last 10 years, what? The Warriors have what? How many in the last 10 years? 2?
They got 5.
In the last 10 years? I'll say about 4 in the last 10 years.
That's half. That's almost half.
But
how many finals they been to? They are a championship team.
They are a championship
let's not discredit the Warriors now.
Team, but at the same time, we always see new champions in the NBA. You always want to see it.
I agree with that. I agree.
You always want to see it. So people get teams. So championship teams do get knocked out. We're not going to say that y'all dog walk them. Like, come on.
Let's be
realistic here.
There was multiple times, not just in this series, the playoff run from the Warriors, where they did look like a shell of themselves. They didn't look complete. They didn't look like they was all. It wasn't a fine-tuned engine running. Like that thing was like, it had that little timing belt skip in it. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you got guys that like Jordan Poole, like they weren't hitting shit. They weren't doing shit. You had too many key role players in multiple games not doing shit. Andrew Wiggins, multiple games, not doing shit. Draymond Green, multiple games, not doing shit. Klay Thompson, a bunch of games, not doing shit. So it was an easier walk. If you can't admit that, then come on now. If they make a lot of them shots, then we're talking about a lot tighter series. We're possibly talking about a game 7.
We're talking about the Warriors advancing.
That's what happened. So they missed a lot of shots. You guys played good defense. You got it done in 6. But I'm telling you now, the Nuggets, there's no way the Nuggets aren't a better team than the Warriors. Because if they would have went against the Warriors, I'd have seen them do it in 5, maybe 6. So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's going to be a great matchup, and I feel
that's all I'm looking forward to. Is a great series. I don't look at it as going to be a draw. This is going to be a great series at the end of the day.
I think the NBA, like I said, the NBA is all about matchups. I think if the Nuggets would have played the Warriors, they probably would have lost.
Robert Nunez, it's not even about talk about 2 against 1. It's not about that. What we're saying is that respect the team that you're playing against. We're respecting them. I'm respecting them by giving them their just due. Because what y'all done this
year? One game. You giving them 1 game?
I'm giving them one. I'm giving them respect.
The Denver Nuggets 1 game. That's disrespect.
That's not disrespect. They haven't earned anything. They haven't earned any respect.
We gonna win it in 4 or 5 games. That's not respect, brother.
What respect have they earned? What have they done to earn respect?
They the number one team. They the number 1 team in the West. They had the right to get all the respect.
Who was the number 1 team last year? And the number 1 team the year before that? Who was the number 1 team in the East?
Not the Lakers.
None of that shit don't matter. They didn't do anything to earn any type of respect.
We don't even talk about last year because y'all weren't even thought of in the playoffs last year. We're not going to.
But we weren't even the same team. We're not even the same team last year.
So we're not going to talk about last year.
I'm just saying.
You weren't the same team 6 months ago.
Exactly.
So
you're right. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that every step of the way. Every step of the way, I say that we have been the best team since the trade deadline. I didn't say we were the best team all year.
We're looking for a great series.
Is that
what we're looking for, and what the matchups dictate are 2 totally different things. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but what you dictating is just a prediction at the end of the day.
True.
It's just a prediction.
I'm basing it off of what we've seen. What we've seen. What have we seen? We've seen the Lakers play against 2 quality opponents, two opponents that are quality wise are better than the motherfucking Timberwolves and the Suns. That's just a fact.
Can you give me 3 reasons why the Nuggets would win 1 game?
3 reasons why they would win 1 game?
Just the 1 game.
You only need 1 reason why they would win 1 game. Jokic's going the hell off. Their role players playing great at home, which they've done all playoffs. They play great at home.
I don't play
so great on the road.
So my question to you is this:
where are your 3 straight games coming from then? That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. You're trying to tell me you're going to beat a great team at home, back-to-back games at home?
I think that we can beat them on their shit, and we can hold home court. We can hold home. We can take 1 of the 2 first games. Pick a game out of game 1 and 2. The Lakers will probably win that game. The Lakers will probably win 2 of their home games, like they said they couldn't do last series. They probably win 2 of their home games against a less than perfect road team in the Denver Nuggets, and they'll probably win game 5. And we'll win game 6 at home. You want to see we'll go 6.
Now you want to change your narrative. Now you want to change your narrative.
Listen to the words, sir. I said if he says it wants to go 6, if you say it can go 6, that's how I think it'll go 6.
I think it goes 7.
I don't think it'll go 7. I don't think it'll go 7.
If the Nuggets can get a win on your, if the Nuggets can get a win on your home floor, it's going to 7.
Everybody's going to win on their home court. I don't see anybody winning on the road. I don't. The crowd is going to be too much in effect. I don't see the Lakers going
I can see that
and winning. I just don't see that happening. But on the same hand, I don't see the Nuggets being able to go in there and blow the Lakers out. And that's the only way you're going to beat the Lakers at home, because you got to take the crowd out of it. Take the crowd out of it. You got to put points on the board. But the whole thing is that's not taboo for the Nuggets. The Nuggets can throw up 40-some points in a quarter. We've seen them do it multiple times just this playoffs, let alone this year.
What was the first round series? Did they beat the Wolves 4-2?
Say what?
Didn't they beat the Wolves 4-2? Didn't the Nuggets beat the Wolves 4-2? Or was it 4-1?
They beat them in 5 games.
They beat them in 5 games. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
They beat them in 5 games like they supposed to, though.
They were supposed to beat them in 5 games. You're right. Because they were the sorriest team in the playoffs in the West. They should have swept them. They should have swept them. They should have won any games.
Listen, it's the NBA at the end of the day. It's the NBA.
How many games did Memphis win?
2.
2 games.
Memphis won 2 games, which it shouldn't have been 2 games.
I agree.
It
we should have won 4-1. We should have won 4-1. The same thing with the Warriors series. We should have won 4-1 that series. We should have beat them 4-1. We should have beat them 4-1.
The game shouldn't have been close because the Grizzlies is frauds. They're just frauds. They are fraud number 2 seed. That's exactly what they are. They're like the Sixers. Kings. The Sixers is frauds at number 3. Frauds.
Why you keep saying that shit? Why are you so mad at the Kings, man? Let them be happy.
Sorry. Hey, as a Lakers fan, the Sacramento Queens will always be under us, just like our other basement team in the Clippers.
What was
your real basement team is the Clippers because y'all playing the
real basement team is the Clippers.
That's the difference.
Kings, man.
That's the difference. That's the difference. The Clippers is more of your basement team than anything.
Feeling for them. Like, come on, man. I feel bad for teams who ain't never won shit.
I'm kind of happy that Sacramento is actually making a difference in NBA basketball now. It's good to see a different team in the playoffs.
It's good when they're good. It's good when another California team is good.
I have to say though, the Sacramento Kings had a great season. They really did. I'm not gonna take nothing away from them, even though they lost the game 7.
No doubt.
They had a great game. But the Clippers is something different.
They played great team ball all year long.
Yeah,
they did
great ball all year long.
They just didn't guard anybody.
That's
ever since I came on the show, since we started, I have spoke about this ad nauseum. If you're not gonna play defense, you're not gonna fucking win. That's just it. If you don't play defense, you're not gonna win.
So my question to you is that if both teams plays defense, who wins?
In which series? Which team is more likely to play defense though?
I'm just saying, like, how will a series go if both teams play defense? How will the series
have the higher? It is deadlocked between the 2 defenses on this postseason. The Nuggets and the Lakers are locked.
Who have they played? Defense. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking about since the deadline. We've been the best defensive team. Not since the freaking playoffs started. We've been the best defensive team for months now.
Matter. The season don't matter. The season is over. We are no longer.
I got a question though.
We play tougher matchups.
I got a thing. I got a little fun fact there. People fail to realize that Denver has beaten a team in the Suns that had damn near the best player in the playoffs, and that's Devin Booker.
I mean, he started out hot.
He was the best player in the playoffs, not just
in
the Nuggets game, not in the Nuggets series, but the series before that.
Yeah, I mean, he started out hot for sure. What was Steph Curry doing? Steph Curry wasn't cooking. Steph Curry been cooking since the Kings series. Even though it was 4-3, what was Steph Curry numbers though? Steph Curry was cooking. He been cooking all playoffs.
He was cooking.
He been cooking all playoffs. Look at his shooting percentage when he played the Lakers though. Okay,
look at Devin Booker's shooting percentage when he played the Nuggets.
After which game?
After
game 4?
Hold on. And then look at Durant's numbers.
Because it was 2-2 after game 4, right? It was 2-2 after game 4. And then he lost 2 straight. What happened in the last 2 games? Okay.
And what happened to Curry?
What was the series though? The series was 3-1.
More rebounds. They got almost twice as many rebounds as Phoenix. Either the last game they won or the game before that when I was looking at the stats.
That's not hard. That's not hard to do when you're playing against Lockdale and Biyombo. And soft ass DeAndre Ayton. They should have killed them on the backboard.
But that's the whole thing. It wasn't Biyombo and Ayton in the paint because they were pulled out of the paint by Jokic, which then left what?
Right.
They left Murray,
because they left
to go get a rebound.
Because they're lesser defenders. Because they're lesser defenders. They're not. Their team defense has been ass all season. They're not a defensive squad. They're not a defensive oriented team. They don't have the schemes. They don't have the matchup. They don't have the players to play the defense that we play. They just don't. They don't have the physical bodies to play the same defense. They don't have 6'9" people across the board.
You're gonna have to get the best version of AD and the best version of LeBron.
Y'all been saying that. Y'all have been saying that for 12 games now.
I haven't been saying
here
that.
We are.
It's true.
That's not me.
It's true. Every time they both had a great game, they win.
How many games we won? That's been more times than not. That's my point. That's my whole point.
All I'm
It's
saying
been more
is
times than not.
the fact that you giving Denver only one game is just disrespectful to the game of bad. It's just disrespectful.
No.
It's disrespectful to the game.
You
I'm
can
sorry.
talk about matchups all day, but on offense, let's look at the matchups. I mean, okay.
Just because the matchup dictate to what they are doesn't mean it's going to happen that way.
That's true. That's all. Everything is a prediction. What I'm doing is a prediction. I'm not Nostradamus. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6, but I think that it'll go 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6. I don't think it's going to go 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6. I'll clarify that. I, as a Lakers fan, as an NBA fan, as a basketball fan, think that this shit should be over in 4. Generously 5. We're talking about pure basketball. Pure basketball, they have nobody that can guard LeBron James. They have nobody that can guard Anthony Davis. Not they can guard both of them. They don't have anybody. They don't have them. They don't have the horses. Okay. One dude that can create off the dribble. That's Jamal Murray. What other guard can create off the dribble for them? What other guard can create offense for somebody else?
Have to work. LeBron James would have to work hard against.
He ain't going to have to work too hard because the matchup says that he has an advantage over whoever's going to be guarding him. Okay. Who's going to be guarding him? Aaron Gordon?
I don't see it.
Bro, he can't play the same physical style that he just played against Kevin Durant. He can't play that same physical style against fucking LeBron James.
I think adjustments is going to be late. I think adjustments will be late.
LeBron James is not who he used to be.
LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant right now. That's for damn sure.
We all know that. Because Kevin Durant.
And both of them are better than Aaron Gordon.
Well, let's be.
You're talking about a different type of better.
You're talking about a different type of better.
Like, Kevin Durant is a better scorer than LeBron.
Kevin Durant. The reason why Kevin Durant.
That's what I'm saying. An overall game, LeBron has to be better.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Because when it comes to Kevin Durant. The man only played 8 games in a regular season.
I agree with you there. Sonny. That's my whole thing as far as chemistry. The chemistry aspect of it matters. They didn't have the chemistry needed or the players or the horses needed to really put forth a great effort. Their point guard got hurt.
Of course, it's going to be LeBron better than KD right now because KD went from a badass Brooklyn team and then he got traded to a Suns team with no chemistry. Where LeBron comes to a team where they already had the chemistry, but just had the wrong players in that chemistry.
The only thing Kevin Durant can do better than LeBron is shoot. That's it. He can't attack the rim better than LeBron. He can't create for others better than LeBron. He doesn't play better defense. He's not a better rebounder. He's just not. All those things add up in a basketball game. Not when you're trading. You know what I mean?
LeBron only plays 50% of defense.
50%. It's more than enough. It's more than enough. Look who he guarding. He ain't guarding nobody.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. But this matchup is different. This is a different matchup.
Who do you think LeBron will guard?
Everybody on the Nuggets can drive. Every one of them can drive. Now
they can't though. They can't though. That's not their game. That's not KCP's game. That's not Michael Porter's game.
No,
KCP
went off the other night because that's exactly what he did. He kept driving.
What he did was attack off of
money.
Bro, so what he was doing was getting free shit.
Nobody, they're gonna have to foul him.
Oh my God. Okay.
LeBron's not going to sit there and constantly go to the hole. We've seen that. We saw that against the Warriors. How many times did he step off and let people drive? Because
we saw the last game and the game before that they won. LeBron was in complete drive mode, bro. He can do that shit whenever he wants. That's matchup dictated. He can drive to the lane whenever the hell he wants.
No, I said defense. I'm not talking about offense. I'm talking about LeBron on defense. LeBron is a 50% guy. He's 50% of the time, yeah, he'll guard you. But if you blow past him, he gonna let you go. If you have a running start,
we got a shot block at the rim. There's no sense of trying to contest and get a foul when you have a shot blocker at the rim.
I understand that.
But in this series coming up, I don't think Anthony Davis is going to be the block shocker that he is because Jokic is good on the offensive side of the ball that he doesn't need to be down the block to score. It's obviously easier to score closer to the rim than from the field. He's not a knockdown 40% 3-point shooter. Which the numbers show. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that you said that. I'm just saying that That's not where he wants to live. He doesn't want to live on the perimeter shooting jumpers.
Jokic could do more outside to shoot the ball outside of being on just being on the perimeter. Let's be honest. We have a guy that can pass the ball really well as a big man. Something AD can't do as a big man. He cannot pass the ball.
Right. We're not debating that. What I'm saying is that what our defense has shown and our guards and our wings have shown in both of these series so far is that we play great defense off ball and we contest every shot. We contest the majority of the shots. So we're contesting good shots and we're there. And as we've been all playoffs, we have been in these guards' faces all playoffs.
This is the first offensively consistent team that you will play.
Thank you.
As opposed to
this team is more consistent offensively.
The Warriors have been running the same offense for about 8 years. They've been running the same offense for 8 years.
The Warriors was not that good this year.
So many
shots. Been the same team. They just got their team whole in the playoffs, sir.
The Nuggets will not.
They are the sixth best team in the NBA. The Warriors are the sixth best team in the NBA. Let's keep it a buck.
Win the first game tomorrow. Okay.
Get your popcorn ready.
I just feel like Lakers fans need to realize, yes, y'all might win the series, but y'all will not win the series that easily. Absolutely not.
Oh,
y'all smoking crack.
We'll see.
So.
Listen, we shall see.
Honestly, I if you take a game, it might be the second game in Denver, and that's after a lot of game planning, a lot of changes, a lot like figuring out exactly what the matchups need to be for you guys to succeed. But like I said, you're talking about an offense to the caliber that you haven't seen in the playoffs yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like y'all think the Lakers winning the series of 4 or 5 is asinine. It's just asinine to me.
Okay.
It's asinine. It's just
the same way we wouldn't win 2 straight. The same way we wouldn't beat the Memphis. We wasn't even supposed to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. We wasn't even supposed to make it out the play.
If you want to use the word dog walk, you should have dog walked the Grizzlies. That's the word you should have did for them.
Hey, okay. That's all I can say is okay. We shall see.
I don't see it as a dog walk, and I think you have Lakers fans in the chat even saying it's not going to be a dog walk.
Like I said,
I didn't say that we were going to dog walk the freaking Nuggets. I said we should have dog walked the motherfucking Warriors. I didn't say that about the Nuggets.
Dog walk the Warriors, bro.
I think that we did because the shit wasn't close.
I'm not going back. That was not close. That series was not clear.
The series wasn't close. We lost 2 games.
It was 2 to 3.
We need to lose 4.
It was 2 to 3
for it to be the other way, sir.
But the fact that y'all had to go to 6 games is not a dog walk. If you would have swept them, then that's a dog walk.
I guess so. Hey, look, listen. I'm over them. I'm over them. I'm over them. We can try to rehash. We can rehash the series all you want. We beat them. Next. Go on to the Nuggets.
You beat them, but the word dog walk gotta get out of your sentence,
I think the Nuggets are an easier matchup because they don't present the same problems as the Warriors. Me personally.
And Mac, you see how shows go now? We about to be we halfway through, about to be in the 3rd hour talking about the goddamn Lakers. That's why I wanted to wait till tomorrow.
Stop it. We took an hour talking about this. We took an hour talking about
the last hour and a half we've been talking about the Lakers. We took
an hour talking about them bum ass Sixers. And then we did another segment in the middle. We took an hour talking about them trash ass Sixers.
But
man. Then we started talking about Ja Morant.
Lakers. Look how long we've been talking about
Ja Morant after that. We talked about Ja Morant for 30 minutes.
Almost an hour and a half after we talked about the 76ers.
No, we talked about Ja after that. We talked about Ja.
Ja was like a 30-minute session, please. But this
has only been 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let's do the math of it.
Bruh.
That don't add up, sir.
Bruh.
That don't add up.
All right. What's the next topic? We're going
to initiate at 3 o'clock. Fuck it. We're going to do that. So, I don't even know what the hell to talk about at this point because shit. Damn Lakers shit, man. Y'all Lakers fans fucking kill me. I'm not even making this an audio podcast.
Listen,
I'm not even doing that.
I'm just telling you the truth. Again, I think the offenses, whoever plays better offense is going to take this series. That's what it really comes down to. Both teams play good defensive ball. So I think whoever takes the better shots and doesn't force is going to be the winner of the series.
And just to let everyone know that's in the chat, I am a part of the Miami Heat Nation. I'm sorry. Just wanted to throw that out there.
We'll see.
You know what? And you're going to give up on them in a week?
No, I'm not going to give up on them. I'm not. I'm not. You know what, though? The thing about it is, though, I could trust the Miami Heat organization. I can't trust Philly at all. At least I can trust their organization. I can't trust Philly's organization at all. When you got Daryl Morey, I'll pick Pat Riley over Daryl Morey any day.
You're talking about a more inclusive franchise versus a franchise that just fucking essentially flies by the seat of their pants. And the 76ers have just look, man. How can I say?
The Celtics just reached their ceiling.
They want to be New York. That's what it is. It's like they want to be New York.
The Sixers have reached their ceiling. They have reached their ceiling.
This team for sure.
All the teams in Philadelphia outside of the Flyers, because the Flyers fucking stink. We already know that for a fact. I don't even talk about them. But if you see the Eagles, they've been to Super Bowl. Phillies went to the World Series. What? 2 times in the 2000s, and the Eagles been here 2 times in the 2000s. But the Sixers, oh no. 1 time since 2001, and we got now if you want to call something a dog walk, now yes, the Lakers dog walked the Sixers in 01. That's a dog walk.
So by your standard, I shouldn't even have this Oriole bird behind me. I should have gave up and chose a different franchise like the Yankees.
Hey, bro, I have regulated the Orioles until just like I have to wait till like 100 games in to really start rooting for them because they have been consistently trashed and consistently disappointing for the past 10 to 20 years.
You know what? I'm going to call it right now. They've been over 80 games this year, and they possibly are on the cusp of playoff ball.
That's sad. We've been waiting too long just for us to be on the cusp. We've been rebuilding for 10 years.
For 10 years, we have not been rebuilding for no damn 10 years. We have been rebuilding for the last 5. We have been
rebuilding since Cal Ripken left. We have been rebuilding since Cal Ripken left. We have been trash. We have been irrelevant since Cal Ripken left. No. We haven't been a relevant team.
I have to disagree. There ain't no team worse than the Oakland Athletics at this moment.
I agree with that, but that's low hanging fruit.
The Oilers is doing way better than the fucking Oakland Athletics at this moment.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. This year, you know how many games we've won this year?
I ain't been paying attention.
We're over 20 fucking wins.
That's good. Congratulations.
We're second. We're second in the division.
They played over 150 games. Call me back when they reach 75 games played.
Except 1.
Let me know when they reach 75 games. Let me know when we reach half the games played. Because they play over 150.
I mean, the Phillies have been very inconsistent this year, even though that we haven't been to the World Series since our 06 championship. But we have not been shit since then.
We have a consistent bullpen. We have consistent hitters. We are a consistent team. We're going to get you 5 to 8 runs.
Oh, the Oilers is 29-14? Game. Is that the record, Anthony? Is the Oilers 29-14? Is that the actual record?
Yes.
Because I think he's an Oilers fan too. He lives in Baltimore.
That's 40 games in. Let me know when we get to 75 games in. 80 games in.
Okay.
They play too many games for me to be worried about their record 50 games in. They play too many.
No. This is the exact time when you start buying into teams.
No.
You start to really see who they are. The bullpens. You have multiple pitchers in bullpens who've either won
not the Orioles
or lost a handful of games.
Not the Orioles.
This is where everybody starts separating. And I'm telling you
not the Orioles. Other teams.
For us to be beating the Yankees in almost every single category, we're doing freaking great. For us to be right underneath.
Honestly, I think y'all doing better than the Phillies at this moment. For real.
I just think it's too early. I think it's too early for the Orioles because of their history. Their history is shown to not get too happy about them early in the season because eventually they'll just fall the fuck off the face of the earth.
This is a complete different team.
I agree. I just want to see it. I have to see it. I can't blindly buy it.
We have one of the cheapest teams in baseball, but we have one of the best teams in baseball.
I just can't buy in until we get later into the season, sir. I'm sorry.
Actually, Anthony is 26-14, not 29-14.
Yeah, but they've only played 40 games.
The Phillies is 40 games. We look like shit.
They played 40 games. How many games out of first, Robbie?
We're probably like 8 or 9 games back, if that. I don't know. No, the Rays can't have that many because we beat them in the series. We gave them 2 losses out of 3 games.
Yeah, y'all play the Angels tonight.
The Orioles have been too inconsistent these past 10 years. So I can't.
Let's stop looking at 10 years. Let's look at the last 2 years.
What was our record last year?
That team has consistently gotten better and better with the
what was the? I agree that we have gotten better, but what was the record though? What was the end all be all? 500 have we been these past 2 seasons?
I think we got just over 500 last year, which was the first time in a while.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. All of our talent is homegrown and young. We're not overpaying for old veteran players. We've built around the young core that we have, and we'll continue to do so. And guess what? And this is my hot take. If the Orioles really want to be in contention, if we get to the playoffs or close to the playoffs this year, I say we go all in for Ohtani. Let's go spend some money on one guy. And I mean, pitching, he makes our bullpen better. And then you have a hitter at least one to 2 games every series. And Ohtani's going to be a hot commodity.
We'll see. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, Ohtani still wants out of the Angels, right?
I mean, we aren't in play to get him anyway.
At this point, this is what it's about. Whoever's going to put him in the best financial position is who's going to get Ohtani.
For real, that means any team in the NFL. I mean, in the MLB, because if you look at the MLB, contracts, they could get paid any kind of fucking money. They don't have no cap limit on their money.
Yeah.
It's all about what the owners will team in the league. Like a team like the Orioles. The Orioles would be perfect for somebody like that. He could be the franchise player, but we're not going to pay him the money he's going to want. We don't pay anybody. That's been a Baltimore thing since forever.
Again, no. That's not true. That's not true. When we get on the playoff cusp, that has been D'Angelo's background, and we get on the playoff cusp. All right, let's go buy a couple people, but we overpaid the wrong players, and we kept the wrong player.
I mean, Chris Davis kind of put us in a hole.
Chris Davis was absolutely horrible. Even Jones, we shouldn't have picked up Jones.
Yeah, we've been in that hole since after signing him for the longest. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We make poor decisions. That's hometown discounts at that, because they wasn't getting that money nowhere else. They was hometown blessings. They wasn't getting that money at no other team.
Oh, absolutely, but that's what I'm saying. That's what the team stopped doing.
That's because we were desperate. We've always been desperate, because as soon as we get a lick of winning, we get desperate and start paying people. We're not used to winning. That's the problem.
Exactly.
We're not used to winning because we don't win.
Now we're in a position where we have our core isn't going to be able to go for arbitration for at least another 3 years. So we got this core for at least 3 years now. So again, you add an Ohtani, and then you add a big bat to the lineup, and I mean, you got Gunnar Henderson, you got Mountcastle, you got Russell. These guys are all hitting. Like, the bats are rolling. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you go get one veteran baseball bat. You go get maybe, bring up one of our good pitchers coming out. Get rid of one of our pitchers and go get Ohtani. Because that's what he's going to get you 1 day of pitching in almost every series. And then every 4-game series, you're going to get at least 2 bats out of them. I'll take that all day.
We'll see. That's the same thing with the Lakers. We'll see.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the opportunities that can show themselves over the next 6 months. I mean, like I said, yes, it's sink or swim in a matter, but the whole thing is, like I said, we got 3 years. We got 3 good freaking years with the core that we have. And again, we still have the first round pick from last year that had Henderson that hasn't even played a full season yet. So
I tend to just not. I really honestly just don't even pay attention to baseball. It's about like 60, 70 games in. We're roughly about halfway through. We can really start seeing, like, okay, some of these teams are looking like they're going to be something. But the Orioles have been consistently one of these teams that have shown early promise and have faltered late. It's just a fact. Look at the records. You haven't been in the playoffs in how many years?
The Orioles have never had a hot start like this.
I
I agree.
They've had close ones, but they've never had a hot start like this.
I agree. That's why I'm looking away. I'm looking away so I don't jinx them. I'm looking away so I don't jinx them. That's all it is. I'm not wearing their apparel yet. I have plenty of Oreo shit ready, lined up, ready to go. I'm not wearing it outside yet. Y'all
got a whole strip across. Y'all have a whole strip across the stadium that just all Orioles out though. That's one thing I do know about being in Baltimore. When I visit down there, the Orioles have a whole strip of just baseball shit.
Yeah,
near the stadium. I was like, yo,
you'll be the home of Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth home.
Yeah,
I was like,
shit.
I was like, damn. But I want to go through these real quick and see if y'all agree or disagree with the top 10 way too early MVP list for the NFL. And they have a top 10 way too early. So these are the 10 that they have. And when we go from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1.
All right. 10 is Dak Prescott. 9 is Tua. 8 is Trevor Lawrence. 7 is Justin Herbert. 6 is Lamar Jackson. 5 is Aaron Rodgers. 4 Josh Allen. 3 Joe Burrow. 2 Jalen Hurts and 1 Patrick Mahomes.
Man, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad because if Dallas does win anything, it will be on the back of Dak Prescott. Same thing with the Jaguars. Tua just has to stay healthy, really. But I think the weapons around Tua kind of make it a little bit harder for him to be MVP. But I can see Trevor
easier for him.
I think
Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle that plays
that would
well.
take away from his voting, though. They would just say he would be a more product of them than as opposed to him doing it with like lesser known weapons. Like if Trevor Lawrence wins it with Christian Kirk.
Hold on. Now if Tua wins fourth quarter games, like a comeback game in the fourth quarter, it doesn't matter if he's throwing it to Tyreek Hill or Chris Moore. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a fourth quarter comeback win. That counts.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying in the sense that he does play with 2 elite receivers, and that can kind of take away from his MVP voting. Like,
I absolutely hear you on that one, but I'm saying there's still a way. If he truly is the MVP, you know what I mean, and plays like
Justin Herbert. They said Herbert.
Yeah, they say Herbert is at number 7.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, there's a bunch of quarterbacks. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. That's not a bad list. I don't think I can't think of anybody that I would put on there as opposed to them.
I mean, as a quarterback, there's only 3 that come to mind when you think about MVP. Everybody else is like you've kind of fall in line in the back, and it's like the phenomenal season that you'd have to win MVP. As a quarterback to beat out Patrick Mahomes, you're gonna have to do a shit ton. Okay, and behind him is Hurts.
At the end of the day, ain't no other positions gonna win it.
Yeah, no other position.
You know what?
And I think that's a problem in the NFL.
I'm putting Lamar Jackson number 3 because
I think defensive players don't get enough respect in the NFL. I think the quarterback gets way too much credit in the NFL. I think they do. I think they get way too much credit for wins and losses in the NFL. We just tied directly to them, and you don't try like, well, what about the right guard? What's the right guard's win-loss percentage in fucking games? Like that shit, like it makes it. The football is the ultimate team sport. It's too many moving parts. It's too many.
I hate that because even though that I don't want to toot my own horn by my own team, but Josh Jacobs had a hell of a year this past year.
He should have MVP
yards and rushing and rusher. He was the number 1 league. He was the league rusher in all-purpose yards and rushing yards. He was
dragging that team. He was dragging the team the same way Lamar wanted with the rushing and the passing. Like
all I'm saying is there's not one defensive player on that list in the conversation.
It's not even a wide receiver in the conversation. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like with the way the receivers get yards now.
Almost
the way to jump somebody like
MVP, you think of offense.
99%
of the time, the first thing that comes out of somebody's mouth when they say MVP or MVP voting, it's the 2 V's back to back. I'm like, fuck, just the P in the middle. But everybody always thinks offense and says offense. And to me, I feel like that's
for instance.
sometimes.
It needs to be changed. I agree.
Philly is not the team that they are without the addition of AJ Brown. It's just a fact. Look at what the fuck he did for Ryan Tannehill. Look at what he made Ryan Tannehill look like. He was the number one receiver, made Ryan Tannehill look like a respectable quarterback. Jalen Hurts looked okay the year before last, but you give him
Devontae Smith has been. Wait though, Devontae Smith before AJ Brown got there was pretty consistent as well. I mean, he got hurt,
but he wasn't AJ Brown. He wasn't a true number one. He was a solid number two, borderline one. AJ Brown is a legit number one. He made bum quarterback.
He's a legit number one, but how he did what he was supposed to do to go help out Devontae Smith. I mean, how he did what he was supposed to do. He went out and got the guy that he wanted, and that's why I like a lot of people used to crucify Howie Roseman for what he used to do in Philadelphia. They used to crucify him
because he used to be bad as hell. That's why he used to be trash. He used to do a lot of silly shit, paying a bunch of veterans. Was he the one that paid Nnamdi? Who paid Nnamdi? Who gave Nnamdi that damn money?
Philly gave Nnamdi that money.
Was it Howie? Was it Howie that paid him? Because Howie was Howie. Yeah, he was Howie. Yeah. Howie made a lot of dumb decisions in the past. He has. He signed all those. He signed the Dream Team with Vince Young and DeMarco Murray and all these other backs and shit. Like he signed the alleged Dream Team with Jalen Macklin and all these guys, and they didn't do shit. Like he's had a track record.
They drafted Macklin.
Yeah, you're right.
They drafted Macklin.
Yeah, you're right.
So. Yeah, they never look at any other position for MVP, and I think NFL needs to take a look at that.
Yeah,
same thing for the Heisman.
The whole thing is, if 90% of the time you go, 99% of the time you're going to give it to an offensive player, then make an offensive MVP and a defensive MVP.
Yeah, that's why they have defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year outside of the MVP. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
they try to make up for it instead of them actually being the MVP. You just make them player of the year.
Because it's like the only way a defensive player is going to get player of the year is if they have 20 plus sacks and they do some outrageous shit.
Right.
Because it's like I mean you look back to many defensive players having 10 plus interceptions in a season. And getting to the playoffs. It's like, man, that guy really, really helped the damn team. But does the safety or the cornerback get that draw? Not really.
How you feel about Josh Allen being at 4?
I mean, look who he played with. That's another guy that pretty much benefited from the receiver. His numbers took an exponentially large jump from before he got freaking Stephon Diggs to after Stephon Diggs got there. It's not a coincidence.
If we're going off of last year, Josh Allen last year was not great.
No, I mean he wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It wasn't MVP caliber. It wasn't. So
I mean, I 100% agree with you on that one. Like, yeah, he played good, but he didn't play great.
When Brian Dable left, that changed. Brian Dable made who Josh Allen what he is today. And I'm going to be honest with you, Brian Dable is the reason why Daniel Jones got the contract that he got. Unfortunately, I kind of disagree with the contract that Daniel Jones got, but Brian Dable made him a better quarterback than anything when it comes to Daniel Jones. He definitely developed Daniel Jones from this past year. And that's what Josh Allen did when he was in Buffalo. He made Josh Allen better. But when Brian Dable left, he declined.
I think Brian Dable made Daniel Jones' just job a little bit easier. I don't think that he really overly developed him too much. He just leaned more on the run game. He got a healthier Saquon. You lean more on the run game. You play defense. You keep your quarterback out of harm's way. Don't ask him to do too much, and he'll look good. Look at his numbers. His numbers were rather pedestrian. Like
I think Jones and Prescott are both essentially the same thing. Like those are guys that might get you to the playoffs, but these guys will never win in the playoffs.
See, that is just asked to do more because they have it. I mean, they're running the split back system, and Ezekiel's basically falling off a cliff. So it's like they're not really like they're just not trying. They're asking him to do more. Daniel Jones is just asked not to fuck up the game. I mean, hand the ball off, hit open receivers, hit your tight end.
Either one of them.
He threw for almost 3,400 yards with no receivers that only had 5 interceptions on the year.
How many touchdowns he had? Did he have 20? That's one thing. He didn't have 20. Like that's bad. That's not good. That's not good.
No,
that's prototypical game manager shit. Your ex did not fuck up the game. Don't fuck up the game, Daniel Jones, like you did last year with all the turnovers, the fumbles, and the interceptions.
I think those numbers go up this year.
I mean, they should go up.
They should go up. What the fuck?
I mean, you got to think about it. He under his first year head coach under Brian Dable. You got to understand, like, I think he's going to take a jump. I think Daniel Jones is going to take a jump this year.
I think he'll be asked.
Then they went out and got Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee in the draft. So you add young receivers that can actually run routes and catch the ball, unlike bum ass Kenny Galladay.
I think Kenny just fell out with the coaching staff. That was the main thing with Kenny. I liked the Kenny when he was in Detroit. He get to the Giants and he can't even see the field.
The best ability is availability.
That's true.
And Kenny Galladay's issue in Detroit was availability.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So if you can't stay healthy all season, I'm not going to put you on the field either. Because if you run a route and then you get hurt again, you out.
You out. Yeah, you're out. You're right.
So I'm not, as a coach, I'm not risking it with Kenny Galladay. I'm just not risking it. That's why I don't think nobody signed him, because I think the Giants released him. I don't think nobody signed him yet.
No, he's gonna be the after camp type of guy. After camp, after probably like the first or second preseason game, then he might get a look or something.
I just hope the Raiders don't look at him.
Oh,
because we don't need it.
We don't need it.
We got 12 receivers on the roster going into minicamp. Absolutely not.
You need to beef with that O-line. Get your O-line together. Get that O-line.
It is crazy. It looked like we about to swap too, because y'all got Rock Ya-Sin and Marcus Peters visiting the Raiders today.
Hey, that was kind of a giveaway.
That's a trade swap for real.
A trade swap.
I don't know if it's going to be confirmed that he signs, but he is.
Who's your safeties? Because you're going to need a damn good safety over time.
American Marcus Epps, the safety from the Philadelphia Eagles that we got.
Okay, is Epps ready to step in? You think he's ready to step in for a bigger role?
I think he can. I think he's stepping in player role. He played. Mind you, one thing I can say about him outside of Darion Hopkins wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
So we got an Epps that played all games last year.
Harmon's a smart veteran. He's a smart veteran for you all. He's the veteran guy there at this point.
Yeah, but we didn't re-sign him though, because he was only on a 1-year contract. So we didn't re-sign him. He's still a free agent. I don't think nobody picked him up.
It's still likelihood that y'all bring him back. He knows the system.
Probably. It's just for real. The only issue that we have on defense is linebackers and corners.
Yeah,
I think our defensive line has been beefed up, but it's going to be challenging because our defensive line is young. But still,
y'all want Patrick Queen? What y'all got? Y'all want Queen?
I don't want Queen because he's not great in coverage.
Thank you. I've been telling my homeboy that.
And that's been our issue. And you want us to bring that issue to the Raiders? Absolutely not. When we've been struggling with linebackers that can't cover for years. Hell no. If we did trade for Patrick Queen, the only way I think the Ravens would ask for Hunter Renfrow.
No, I don't know if we need that.
Second round pick. That's all we're asking.
Just give us a 2.
I think Hunter would be great in your offense, honestly. I really think so.
But I mean, you think he would play over Duvernay? Duvernay could do too much. He could do more.
Duvernay is good, but the fact that Duvernay's inability to stay on the field is the problem.
Say what?
Duvernay's inability to stay on the field.
Absolutely. I think too many. Dude, he just like Chuck Clark. Everybody calls his praises, but what does he do in the field? What does he do? He returns punts.
Not Chuck Clark, bro.
That's what he does.
Not Chuck Clark, bro.
No,
he's better than Chuck Clark. He's a better player than Chuck Clark.
A bum. Chuck Clark was a bum.
Chuck Clark is a bum.
I'm happy I turned off the Raiders. I'm happy I did that.
Bro, Chuck Clark is a bum.
At least twice. Name one game. How many times we watch him go tackle somebody?
I agree. Chuck Clark's a bum. I'm not arguing.
Bro, he was a
bum.
The
fact that you're trying to compare Duvernay to him is insane. Duvernay is way more productive than Chuck Clark, though, bro.
Yeah, but Duvernay, the best ability is availability. Every time I turn around that man, he's hurt. Every time I turn around, Duvernay is hurt.
I agree.
You'll get consistency out of Renfrow. I don't want
I'm about to be on Baby Duty. I gotta get out of here, man.
I don't want Patrick Queen, but that's the end of the show, y'all. That's the end of the show. We out of here. Same time, same place. And we had a 3-hour show today because we want to talk about the goddamn Lakers. Jesus Christ. The Lakers prediction.
You thought you were going to avoid that Lakers talk.
I ain't even clout Boston.
We don't even have to worry about the Sixers no more.
I'm gonna let it go.
You don't have to worry about me talking about the Sixers no more. So you don't got to worry about that. We just got to focus on these goddamn Lakers at the now.
Thank you. Let's go. Yes, we center of attention. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Listen, you can listen. We could talk. We could talk about my Miami Heat tomorrow too.
We give Miami Heat some respect because they definitely closed out in New York. So you know what I mean. Was it in New York? Was it in New York?
Yeah, it was. No, it was in Miami. It was
in Miami. Oh, thank God. They would have made it out of New York.
Yeah, they could have won. They could have won it in New York. But hey, same time, same place. We'll definitely be here for the Darion Hopkins Show. Episode 21 is in the books. We'll see y'all tomorrow for 22. And we make our predictions, our bets, and we will have some other news as well. So, and I hope Ed could come back tomorrow too because he got to do his division winners for the NFL.
Yeah. I'm back tomorrow for sure. Yeah,
could be talking about the Lakers. That's why.
Lakers get a break tomorrow.
Peace, love, and blessings, and we out of here, y'all. 12 o'clock tomorrow. Peace.